I'm a professional.
Welcome to the Bass and Brews podcast, your weekly distraction from other high-quality podcasts. And now, your host, Alex from Swamp Rat Fishing, and the co-hostess with the mostest, the Jabberhammer, Paul Roberts.
That is not the sound. Paul is shotgunning.
Go.
Yeah,
Go.
do it.
Go.
Holy. All right.
Yeah. Oh.
Man, that sounded like shit, though.
It's going to be one of them nights.
Yeah, Paul just shotgunned a White Claw Surge, so this is going to be, unhinged. Hey, everybody. Welcome.
8% alcohols just got drank in 2.3 seconds.
Is that your first one of the night, Paul?
No, because Paul
First one I'm counting.
No, here's how I know. Hey, everybody, welcome to Bass and Brews, your weekly distraction from a high-quality podcast. We've got Joe from Cut and Retie. But before we get to Joe, officially, I know that Paul, this isn't his first one because he called me and then wanted to talk to my wife and then asked my wife if I am satisfying her in bed. That's how many beers Paul's had today.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of them days.
Look. Here's the thing. Nobody's counting.
I mean,
All right,
you're
so
by
we got
yourself.
Joe.
If a tree falls in the woods, right? Yeah.
I mean,
We got-
if you don't hear
Pissing me off already, Paul.
hold on, no. If you fart in bed and your wife doesn't hear it, does it smell?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but if she's asleep and it doesn't wake her up, doesn't
Well, that's a
even
different
smell.
story. Then no.
Yeah.
Then it didn't exist.
It's just a phantom fart.
If she is awake, are you courteous enough to remove the covers to fart?
Oh, no. I wait until I fart underneath the covers, and then I fluff the top so it goes directly up at her.
See,
Paul, let me
see,
just take
my-
over for a minute, Paul.
Okay, go, Joe. This is your podcast, Hoss. You take over. Look, I'm
Listen,
going to tell y'all this though.
There you go.
My wife and I, she has her comforter, and I have my comforter.
Guys have
So
separate...
we don't even share a comforter anymore.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's maybe we'll talk about that later, Paul. That's a little
Well, I'll just put a bow on that ask by saying that I have this weird thing where I don't like feeling like I'm sleeping marinating in my trapped farts all night. So I remove the covers. It grosses me out. They're my own flavor.
So
you know?
Here's my covers. My feet are uncovered.
yes.
My torso is covered, and then I have one arm covered.
Okay, I'm putting it all together. I'm picturing it. I'm building the image in my head. All right.
It's
Dude,
math.
don't do that.
It's math.
Don't do
It's
that.
it's really hard. And look, I will post. I'll try to post a picture of me in bed
Yeah, you
with my
should.
comforter on. Yeah.
Only if you're wearing that bikini from the live show.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. After I
Joe,
took
you
that
missed
bikini
it.
off, it had racing stripes in it, so I'm not sure that bikini is going to exist anymore after that.
All right, everybody, we've got Joe, but before we get there, hey Joe.
Joe who? From where? I
Cut
mean,
and
goddamn,
Retie.
introduce
I
the
am. I'm gonna
man.
do a
fucking
full
goddamn,
introduction.
Alex.
Yeah, everybody knows who I am. Paul.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not everybody knows who. Just we have Joe on. Joe from who? Joe
Cut
from
and
where?
Cut and Retie. Joe, we do this thing where we ask our listeners to go to Apple Podcasts because that's the only one you can leave reviews at, right? And we ask them to leave a 5-star review, but then be as brutal as possible in the actual text box for the review.
Okay.
And we've got 2 new ones. First one is, so I guess Apple didn't like the language in my last review, but listening to this show is like watching your buddy light a fart on fire. All exciting at first, but then you're left with the taste of hot fart in your mouth. Thank you, Bastard, for that.
And
I'm
what's
deciding
the
is that
newest
positive or negative? It could kind of, I don't know.
It's
It could go
both.
either way.
We do not. Here's the deal: we do not care what they say as long as it's 5 stars.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I understand that. Let's not get off on an algorithm rant here, but yes, you are correct. The stars, man, you could say whatever you want. The stars matter.
Joe,
And,
can you spell algorithm?
I believe I can.
Okay, well, Alex can't, so
Fuck
we
no, I
ain't worried
can't. I
about
got a
the
GED.
algorithms on here.
All right, and then
Alex,
this
what's
one, I
our,
got
what's
one
our
more.
next one? Because this was a good one.
Yeah, this is from Hedging She. That's a weird name.
No, it's just Hedge She.
Hedge She, okay. It's titled Just Don't. And it is Paul constantly interrupts his co-host and every guest on the show. As someone with ADHD, I now know how annoying I am when I'm not taking my medication.
But you helped him then. See, like you
Right?
taught him something about himself. So in a back
We did.
way, like that was self-help. You know what I mean?
And then he adds, as for Alex, he takes every second he can to mention he was in the military, immediately followed by he was Coast Guard, which as a Marine is the equivalent of a kid in the delayed entry program asking for a military discount. So again, everybody head out there, leave your 5-star review, and drop the most brutal fucking comment that you can, because we'll read them on the show. And it's wonderful.
I kind of like what you're doing here, though. Although I'm not like, I'm too sensitive. I'm not going to put that ask out on my own show.
Hey,
I
just
can't.
so you guys know, Joe's podcast is Cut and Retie. So you guys go over to his podcast, leave a 5-star review, say from the Bass and Brews podcast, and then roast the shit out of him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. That's fine. That's all right.
Well, Joe, here's the thing: you are a real podcast. And
true.
We're
debatable. That's debatable. Yeah.
No, it's not debatable. You're a real podcast.
Yeah.
And we're the sideshow shit that everybody listens to that has problems with their families that they don't know how to express. So they can come and express those views on the reviews.
Yeah, but see, you guys don't give yourselves enough credit, because you guys, I will say, compliment, you are authentic in what you do and you have a good time. And that matters more than anything. There's too many people in fishing podcasts that just want to talk about how good a fisherman they are. And that, I don't know, it doesn't do anything for me. So
you are.
I'm a way better angler than Alex. Like me,
I could. You just have that look. Like I don't even have to see you in action. I'm sure.
Okay, I take
That's
offense to
exactly
that
what
now.
my wife said 22 years ago, and now she's like, "Your action sucks."
Okay.
Well,
You're
hold on,
old
while we're
sucks,
here.
man. These things happen. You know. What
yeah,
I mean?
well, some people bring it on themselves. All right. So I don't know if you guys are following, but Paul's been talking about this weight loss journey. And I had to dig around to the back alleys of YouTube, and I figured out how Paul got into this obese state. So, Joe, I'm sorry you have to see this, but here's Paul like 9 years ago.
That didn't believe I ate my sandwich yesterday. I'm gonna make you another one. Except this time I'm gonna make the watermelon pickle mayonnaise sandwich. And then I'm also gonna make the watermelon pickle mayonnaise tomato sandwich.
All right. So there's a very trim, lean Paul on this video.
Hey, I was a tight 220.
The only thing really tight was that fucking shirt. That was like a size medium on you. But also we figured out how Paul got fat. It's because he was eating fucking mayonnaise and watermelon pickle sandwiches. What the fuck?
Yeah. Can we talk about the sandwich?
Yes,
Look,
absolutely.
Is that a
I
real?
would
You said tomato. I heard tomato in there, and like, dude, tomato sandwich in the summer with like extra mayo, salt, and
Yes.
pepper.
Yes.
Like,
Oh, there we go.
just,
Yep.
Insanity.
Mm-hmm.
I love watermelon, and I also love watermelon in savory things. Like I put it in like ceviche and stuff. Like where it's
Right.
like,
Yep.
and I love pickles. Right, I love pickles. That is a combination. Like I have to know, were you joking or is that a thing? Pickles,
No,
watermelon, and mayo.
I made that sandwich and I ate it. And if you go back and watch that video, I was pleasantly surprised in how good it tastes, because you had the savory, you had the sweet
Crunch,
and then you had the delicious white bread and crunchiness
I
of
think
the pickles. It was like
that's
it
how
was
Paul
it
got
was a
fat.
good
He was
sandwich. I'm
pregnant.
telling you, y'all need to try it. It's a
He was
delicious
pregnant.
sandwich.
if you put that in front of me, I don't know if I can bring myself to make it, but if you put that in front of me, you're like, this is the thing that I eat. You need to try. I would try that. I could kind of see how it could work. Maybe.
Hey, Joe, there's a really good chance that you and I will meet before Alex and I ever meet.
Is that right? You
Yeah.
guys still haven't met, huh?
No, never.
No.
Never.
He's still in North
And-
Carolina. I'm still in dirty Jersey.
I know. So
I will-
how's that gonna work? I know I want to go fish some of the places he fishes. We'll talk
Yep.
about that later.
But
Mhm.
all you have to do is come down here and I will take you fishing.
And then we could meet. All you have to do is come to my house and then we'll meet.
Yeah,
right?
That's
what you're
closer for
saying.
me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what he's saying,
Yeah.
right? Me and Joe will go fishing, and then I'll just send selfies to Paul, and I'll make sure to use a bunch of filters, like me and Joe with the little dog face.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly, like
Look,
the old Snapchat filters.
I got Bobby Roast beef coming down in March,
You
and
do.
him and I are camping from Jigs and Bigs, aka Jugs and Bugs.
Mm-hmm.
I got Bobby coming down. Him and I are going to camp. We're going to fish for a weekend. We're going to have a damn good ass time, and I'm going to hug a fart out of Bobby Roast beef.
That's a goal. That's good.
I like the
Yeah,
silence.
yeah,
like
yeah.
Joe's like, oh, that's fucking weird. But
It's not my
because he's a
show, dude.
pro-
I'm just gonna like somebody's gonna break it.
Because
Shouldn't be
Joe's
me.
a pro, he
Shouldn't be me.
tried to break it, right? He was like, I'm going to break the silence. These amateurs don't know what the fuck they're doing.
No, it's not like that.
Okay,
Look,
well,
the
let's.
greatest fishing podcast on the internet is Joe's, because the storytelling
Insane.
is second to none.
Yeah.
And Joe will tell
Appreciate
you
that.
that the storytelling is because of him. But he will also say, this is why Bass and Brews has never been on his podcast, because I have a story to tell.
It's
His
true.
guests come on with stories.
Are amazing.
And they are exactly amazing. AMIZYNG. Amazing.
No, I mean, honestly, if you guys aren't listening to it, I know we talked about it, what was that, a couple weeks ago with Busky Bassin. We talked to him because he was like, you guys are like my second favorite fishing podcast. And we're like, oh, shit, who's
In
number
Jersey.
one?
In Jersey.
And he said Cut and Retie. I was like, fuck yeah. Like, did you know we had him on the show? And he's like, oh, shit, really? I'm like, yeah, we confused him with a pussy comment. It was amazing.
And that you did. And
We
now,
did.
we were talking before we fired up here. I was like, this ain't my first rodeo now. I'm matrixing. Like, where am I gonna have to go? I don't know. I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Fucking
No,
guys.
never
Yeah.
trust us.
Yeah.
Look,
no,
he does have Roadhouse over his left shoulder.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
know he's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could tell that Joe took it seriously because last time he was in his closet recording from his Dell PC.
Well,
This time he's in the studio.
yeah, no, well, that's just because the timing tonight was like witching hour at home. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like kids running around like nude. They need to be washed and
Yep.
and put away for the night. So I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to the studio this time and just step away from all that. So thank you guys. I always
You're
thank
welcome.
people who get me out of witching hour.
I like it.
Hey, Carter, Carter and myself are going camping this weekend, and we're going to record it. We're going to put out some videos on the social medias.
Mhm.
Okay, and Can't Look Carter and me camping. It's all about campfires, cookies, and something else. I don't even know. We're gonna find out.
I saw that on your Instagram there. Are you bringing a raft? Like, are you not getting another 3 inches of rain like we are in a few days?
Yeah, right.
So tomorrow, Friday, is supposed to be some sporty weather, but
Snow.
it should pull. No, hell no. We can't
No,
look at
no
that.
snow.
No, not them. I'm talking
But
about
we're
us.
supposed to get some severe weather camping. We'll live through it, but Saturday's supposed to be beautiful.
Yeah.
So no, but look, we're not going. This is Carter. Carter loves to camp. He likes to fish. He goes fishing with me, and I put him on a Tommy Bahama chair on the back of the kayak, and he enjoys it. But like Carter doesn't, fishing isn't his thing. But when we go camping, Carter loves to sit around a campfire, and he gets him a campfire poking stick, and that's what we do. Like, he loves to sit around a campfire and poke a fire, and that's what I love to do. So we just sit around a campfire, talk. You know what I mean? We just love it, and so that's what we're doing. So regardless of the weather, look, this little dude does not sleep in his bed or his room at night. He sleeps in a nest, as I call it, beside our bedroom, or beside our bed in our bedroom every night. But he sleeps in a tent by himself
Fuck yeah.
every night we go camping.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what's so cool about it is he loves camping. He loves being out there. He loves the campfire. He loves all that stuff. So it doesn't matter the weather. We're going to have a good ass time.
Okay,
We're
and
gonna
this
make
is
some videos about it.
this is your child we're talking about.
Yeah. Can't look
Okay.
harder is my child.
Okay.
He's 9, going on 10.
Okay.
He's
All
just
right.
some
because
random dude
because
he
I
met
was
at Buc-ee's.
because I was gonna mouth off about what you're saying, but if it's your son, then that's cool because I firmly believe like my daughter, not so much in the fishing, loves the outdoors because I took her so much.
Right.
Like it doesn't get better than that. Can't ask for more than that. But I
Mhm.
also have friends who are grown men who like they go backpacking and they hump all this shit to a top of a mountain just to like be there. And I'm sorry, like I hate camping. I always have. I don't love camping.
Oh.
But if I'm going to do it, there has to be a reason. It has to be because, like, dude, if you suck it up and you're just dirty and unwashed in a tent for 3 days, like you're gonna do some magical fishing here
Right.
or whatever it may be. I don't get camping just to camp. As a grown man, your son he can do whatever he wants. I like that.
So here's the thing. Carter will go fishing with
Good
me.
save, Joe.
You got to know how to walk it back if you're going to be bold.
Be bold or be dumb.
Yeah,
That's what we say on here on Bass and Brews.
No, we don't. We've never said that.
Carter will go fishing, but when we go camping, like that's his shit. He loves to just be camping. He loves to be beside the fire.
Yep.
And all that stuff. So that's what we do. And I love camping too. Like I hate the hike. I'm a fat ass. If we're going hiking, I don't want to hike like 30 miles one day, 20 miles one day, and then camp and then hike 20 miles. Oh my God. And then to hike, like I want to hike into a place.
What was that?
That's Paul.
We'll tell you.
Okay.
You'll
Paul.
learn. You'll learn. Look, a
Scared
lot
the
has
shit out of me.
changed.
I didn't know what happened. It was frightening. Jesus. All right. I'm sorry.
Look, there's a lot has changed on this podcast, Joe.
Oh, you're going to
to
find out after Paul talks about camping here. We also talk about camping now, supposedly.
Okay.
Well, also, Joe, Alex thought for about 2 months that I was selling my kayak and I was going into camping and I wasn't going to be fishing anymore. And that was, you'd have to go back and listen.
He dropped that live at the end of an episode, and I was like absolutely speechless and flabbergasted. And then he had it going all the way until the end of the year live show where he let out that he was lying.
At least 2 months. At least 2 months.
It's like the Andy Kaufman method, though. You kept it up for a while. Yeah.
Look, Joe, I had this whole thing planned out with people that were going to come on and buy my kayak on Facebook Marketplace and do all this shit.
Extra.
Dude, he did the long game.
Yeah.
I had the long game. Alex fucked it up because he was so gullible that I didn't even have to.
I just
play
admitted
the long game.
I just admitted it. I was like, I can't fucking believe that. But it makes sense because you haven't gone fishing in a long time, Paul, and you're fucking fat, and the Hobie is struggling to keep you
That's
afloat.
not even the thing. I have been fishing 3 times since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And shout out to our Omnia fishing folks. I have been fishing and caught the hell out of some damn fish, and I made our Omnia. My Omnia fishing reports on Sharon Harris, and people have loved it. I got $5 off from my next purchase because Omnia Fishing as an ambassador is this shit.
Yeah. You get $5 off, but like, what is a lure that's under $5 nowadays? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's like ad jerk bait, isn't it?
You know what, Joe? We're not asking you to be Matty Ice with your fucking fly time bullshit. We're talking about real lures. We're not talking about some bullshit lures. We're talking about real, no fly fishing bullshit.
Hold on, those Zoom flukes, right? I know you fish those a lot, Joe, right?
It's like I don't think there's anything I do in freshwater where I don't have those.
And those are like $4.99.
Yeah. So
it's a pack of 6
over. Yeah, you get one pack. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know where I've been? Should we dive? Well, I was gonna say this is a secret, but it's not anymore because they changed stuff so much. You know where I've been buying all my flukes for the last year? Are you familiar with Ollie's discount stores?
Yeah,
No.
dude.
You
Yeah.
have those
Yeah.
down
Talk
there,
about
Paul?
it. I'm not. Hell, no. Talk about it. I don't know what
And
Ollie's is.
I'll tell you just a quick bit why, because I've brought up this store before and people like hit me up and they're like, shut up about Ollie's, right? But the thing is, it's like a Big Lots where like they get a bunch of I don't know where they get it from. It's oversold or not selling well at Bass Pro or whatever, so they buy out all this stuff. It's very similar to Big Lots. There's a bunch of these, but ours around here for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, Alex, they've been around is Ollie's. And it's fun because you never know what you're going to find.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, this summer, all the Ollie's had Zoom Super Flukes in colors I've never seen before. I didn't know they existed. And every time now here's the rub, right? The package will say like, I don't know, $5.99, their price, our price, $4.98. Is it this screaming deal? No, but they're so smart because you say to yourself, it's like, well, it's only $1 cheaper than it would be in Dick's or Bass Pro, but fuck it. I'll take all of them.
All of them.
Every time we pop into Ollie's, like my wife and I will go there. We just love that store. You just rummage around. You don't know what you're going to find. I just bought 13 packs and then there's 13 more. And I'm just like, boop, 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 boop. And then those sons of bitches, you know what they did this fall? Now, this was a screamer. Alex, I hope you got in on this. I don't know where they got it. Piles and piles of Lucky Craft.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of Lucky Craft.
Lots of Lucky Craft.
Yeah.
And I bought a ton of the pointers and they were $8. And I was like, it's got to be the same deal. The package says they were $9.99. Now they're $7.99, whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, I was crushing some trout on them earlier this fall before the weather went to shit on one particular pattern. And I lost a bunch and broke a few. And I've been to every Ollie's, like a 50-mile radius of the area. Gone. No, well, I already took them all from the 4 close to me. Now they're done. And that's why it's not like a spot burn, if you will, because it's like, dude,
everybody
once the
knows
shit's gone. They may never have a Lucky Craft or a Zoom ever again.
Well, I will say sometimes they heavily discount because I went in the spring and they had the jackhammer fucking chatterbait, the bass chatterbait that's like $1 million fucking dollars. It was $5 cheaper. Yeah, it was $10.99.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I bought almost all of them. And then I went back 2 weeks later and the 2 that I left were still fucking there. So I was like,
hey, Alex,
that's their fault.
You still did not send me the 6 cents.
You just fucking told me 2 days ago, dickhead.
No, I told you 3 weeks ago,
no,
asshole. Yes, I did. Oh my God.
Paul.
Staying out of this one.
Yeah.
that's a nice looking box.
They're coming.
That's what she said. Yeah, that's what she said. Nice looking
tons
box.
of free 6 cent lures.
I kind of teed
No,
that one
don't
up,
take
didn't I?
free. Those are mine, ho.
Oh, Joe's closer. I don't have to pay shipping and handling.
Yeah. He can just give them to me and I'll drop them off when I come to your house.
Joe ain't fishing for no bass. He's out there fishing for all the other shit that actually tastes good.
Now, no, I fish for the brown bass. It's the green bass that aren't my milieu, my thing.
I was researching Joe a little bit for a segment that we're gonna play later on. I was going through Joe's catalog, which is extensive on YouTube, right?
That's frightening.
It's
because you know what? Because it's so extensive that like you could be like, remember this thing, and I'll just be like, fuck, I have no recollection of making that at all.
It's gonna be from 20 years ago because Joe's been in the business this fucking long. Exactly.
But I will say, I was watching some of the other hook shot stuff, right? Which is fucking. I hadn't watched it in a while, to be honest, like a couple years. And I have such more of an enjoyment for it because your mix of the music in it is so fucking good. Like it makes it this like punk rock fucking cool fishing thing, which we kind of don't have anymore. But some shows like yours are doing that properly. But like fishing YouTube is so bland and fucking selling merchandise. That's all it is. It's just hoarding yourself out to $1 million companies right now. Yeah. So I was trying to find some stuff, and some of it is a little cringy. I'm going to say some of the facial hair styles you went with back in the day.
Are they any different from the? I've never. Okay, now I'm curious.
Yeah.
The goat might have been longer for a time. Like if you're going way back, and that's exactly what. Damn it, that's exactly what you've done.
The goat is. The goat is pretty long. It reminds me of like Pantera or Static X.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
It could have been worse than that. Yeah, all right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen.
Do you want to
back
know
then-
why? I feel comfortable
Why?
enough to be completely
Yeah.
honest with you guys. You want to know
Yeah.
why it looked like shit back then? Because I was one of those kids that, like, I feel like it took me forever to actually be able to grow real fit. You know, maybe like you went to high school with them kids, like they're freshmen and they got like a full neck
Yeah.
beard. That was not me.
Yeah.
So like it was just like, oh my God, I've let this go long enough where there's actually something there. Now I
Mhm.
don't want to screw it up and trim it or like start over.
Right.
So yes, like back in the day when I was like, just let it go. Just let
Listen,
it go.
man, as a 39-year-old man, I did the same thing when I got out. Like, I got to finally grow the hair. And for the longest time, I was just growing the goatee, but keeping the sides. And I look at pictures now from like earlier this year, it looked like shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was bad.
I just went and pee-peed as a
And you didn't wash your
42-year-old
hands
man.
again.
I did. I used
No, you
hand
didn't.
sanitizer.
No, you
aka
fucking
hand
didn't,
sanitizer.
you liar.
And no, I did. It's in my pocket. And I saw 2 streams, but you know what? I didn't get any dribble on the toilet.
Paul
Not
was
easy.
fucking hammered
Not
this
easy.
episode.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Look,
if you
the
hold on,
only
Paul.
way to not pee on the toilet seat as a man is to sit your ass down.
That's true.
You know what? I'm gonna back that up 100%. It might
Yeah.
be like the faintest little drop, but it's an impossibility for there to
Yep.
be 0 when standing.
But also,
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
right.
I feel like ladies throw a big fucking deal about it. It's mostly just water. Settle down, a little drop of pee on your butt, you'll be fine. Like I've put grosser liquids on people. It's okay.
All right.
This is fucked up because you know what? You should.
I could expand on that. I have something else I
Yes.
could say about
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
expand.
Go for it.
I'm
Expand
gonna play
on
devil's
us, Hoss.
advocate then for a second.
Okay.
So it's easy to think
Expand.
that way. Like, who cares? It's 1 drop of pee.
Yeah.
But if you knew you were sitting on somebody else's pee,
Yeah.
you'd be okay with that. I would
Dude, I
not.
was in-
It's like
No,
I
it's
was
it's
in
just
the
like a
woods
fart.
either.
It's like I fart. I'm like, deal with it. Somebody, I'm like, you're disgusting.
No.
That was
I was in the
rude.
military.
You go
for
to an
20
airport
years.
and you see some dribble on a toilet seat. And
You ain't
Oh,
sitting.
okay.
Yeah,
You gotta-
you go to
you
the
gotta
airport,
take a
dude, and be like,
stinky-
it's just
You're-
it's mostly water. Let me
Look,
no,
That's a
bullshit.
random person.
You're-
That's a random person,
You're
not your
rapping.
wife.
No. You go to the airport and you got to go dookie, and you see some dribble on the
I can't
toilet
wait.
seat. What the hell are you doing? You're
I don't know, but the
wrapping.
title
You're
of this
wrapping so
podcast
much
is-
toilet paper on the potty that you wipe it off and you throw it in there and you flush it, and then it's stopped up, but you still go tinkle.
I love it. The title of this
I
episode
thought
is
you
going to be
said
Paul.
Dookie. What? I
Paul
don't-
brings on his
Oh, I
favorite
did not-
podcaster to talk about the potty. That's going to be the name of the episode.
I would rather talk about this than how I rig a bucktail for fluke or something.
Yeah,
man.
no shit. No
Yeah.
shit. And again,
Well, fluke are also, AKA, for everybody that's not from the Northeast.
Fair,
A
fair.
fluke is a flounder.
Flounder.
summer flounder.
Yeah.
Flounder.
Again, if you guys don't listen to it, go check out Joe, and then actually check out Cut and Retie, and then go find Hook Shots so you can kind
Hey,
of see where
Alex.
it like started. Because
Yeah.
when you did the Meat Eater one, that was
God.
it was a little bit different. It's not the same. You know what I mean? It's definitely not the same as Hook Shots or what you're doing now.
Yeah,
It's
Hook
still-
Shots I did that I did for 11 years at Field and Stream.
That's
That
insane.
started in 2008, and somehow I kept that going by myself for. I mean, I had certainly help from the company, but I mean, I was
Right.
the editor, host, found all the music, found all the bands. I did that for 11 years, and then 2 series at Meat Eater. I had a hand in Das Boat, which my good buddy Miles Nolte came up with. That was his baby, and then 2 seasons of B-side fishing, which was sort of like Hook Shots, but I dare I say, like, I don't know, a little bit like put together a little bit tighter or something like that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. It was more produced.
yeah.
So, Joe,
Paul.
one of the things you talk about, do not call me out like that. If
Paul's
I say your
like-
name, you don't have
Paul-
to say my name. You know, I'm
Paul's like
talking
that
to
guy
you.
that you meet.
Okay,
at
I hit a nerve. All right, shit.
Paul's the guy you meet at a wedding, and he keeps saying your first name at the beginning of every sentence just to prove to you that he knows your name.
Okay, I cut you off. Go ahead. What was the question? Sorry.
Okay. Well, you didn't cut me off because the only person here cutting people off is me.
Okay.
Your podcast is centered around stories. How the fuck do you tell stories so good in your podcast?
Well,
It's not even your guess. Like, you had one of the second or third most recent podcasts you had was your buddy Mark, who was
yeah,
on one of your earlier ones.
yeah.
And those are a phenomenal podcast. But it is the storytelling. What I want to know is how the hell do you tell the stories that you tell? And we can take it to you having a box full of the photos,
The Polaroids.
Oh
the
yeah.
Polaroids, but you tell the story of the Polaroids, and they're like completely you.
Well, they're also fictional, right? So people
right,
understand.
I know.
People haven't seen it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, that's
how do
just
you? All right, hold on. God damn it,
Okay,
Joe.
okay.
Hold the
Shit.
fuck on. I'm trying to make my point so you can talk after me. The storytelling on Cast and Retie is
Cast and
It
Retie.
is-
That's the new show. Cast and Retie.
That's my
Cut and
other
Retie.
show. Yeah.
shit. You know, I don't retie shit. Anyway, like the storytelling on your podcast is as good as it gets in podcast land, and you live off of that. How in the hell do you do that? Like if you can explain it to us and our dumbass listeners. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I love our listeners, but they are dumbasses. Your storytelling is second to none. Like you can take shit and bring it to life where people feel like they're in the story and that they're fishing with you. How?
Well, dude, so nobody's ever asked me that before. So, and I'm like humbled and honored that you would say that, man. I mean, that's awesome. But I guess really, okay. So one thing, I like to talk, right? And if you're gonna have a podcast or be in a video, like you gotta love just bullshitting with people. And you said something. You had said, your podcast is focused on storytelling. To a degree, I agree with that. But really, like if you ask me, like what is Cut and Retie about, and what is everything that I've done from Hook Shots about, it ain't about fish. It's about people first. Like that's what I love about being in the fishing industry. It's who I get to fish with, who I've met. I always say, like, you go fishing, you and your buddies. What are you talking about 3 years later when you're talking about that trip? It's rarely what you caught. Like at the end of the day, it's like, oh yeah, we caught some trout, or that's cool. You talk about all the dumb shit that happened. So, I mean, I think that part of the reason that I can do it, and I don't know how to say it. I mean, I'm not just the fact of the matter is, and I don't take this for granted. Right
Just
out of college, I have been blessed. Somehow I fell into this career right out of college. I wake up every day still and go, I cannot believe I've gotten to do what I've gotten to do, and I'm doing what I'm doing now somehow for going on 20 years now. And I know a lot of people. I've experienced a lot of different fisheries. I've been to a lot of different places. So even if I have somebody on the show that I've not personally fished with, it's rare. And in fact, I'll give you like a little behind the scenes. Like I go out of my way to have guests on where even if we don't know each other at all, I know that I'll have something to add to what they're saying based on my own experiences. And that gives you a lot of room. So somebody, as an example, that swings, flies for steelhead in the Pacific Northwest, never done that before. I mean, I did it once. It was a miserable experience, but just having done it once and experienced that river and seen the way it goes down, it's now ammo for me to go, oh Christ, when I did this, I almost fell and broke my ankle and drowned. And that, like, so, I get a lot of questions from podcasters and people who want to start podcasts, and they want advice, and I'm happy to give it. And what I always say is, in my opinion, people have to tune in for the host first. Like they have to be there to listen to you first. And it's your job to be able to move things along, because not every guest can just, I go out of my way to make sure I have really good, interesting guests and people who can talk. Some are just naturally better than others. Some guys, like there's nothing I love more than when I have somebody sitting here and it's like, I can't get a word in. I would prefer that. Like that's like the dream scenario, but it's not always that way. And I guess I love to talk. I love hearing people's stories. I don't want to get bogged down with tactical stuff and how we catch this. Like that's not what I do. So to me, it just sort of comes naturally. But having just done so many things and met so many people really, really helps me do this. Yes,
So,
Paul's raising his hand.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So Joe is putting everything on his guest. Oh, it's the guest. It's their stories. It's me
No,
asking
that's
questions.
not what he said.
I don't think I
That's
did
not what he
that.
said.
I don't
No.
think I did that at all.
Well,
He
that's hey, that's how I'm
No.
interpreting it. So that's what. Just shut the fuck up and let me talk, both of you.
Why did
Here's
we
the
have a
deal.
guest?
But Joe can take a fucking picture from 1988
Okay, this is
and
different.
create
Go ahead.
a
This is
story
different.
and create a story behind it that I'm just sitting there going, holy shit, is this real or not? Like that, dude,
No.
that's
No,
the
it's fiction,
wholly
yeah.
different.
It's great. It's so
That is-
creative. It's such a good gimmick. I mean, it's not.
It's
and
not
to
a
say
gimmick.
No, it is a gimmick. He made up a thing. Do it every episode. It's awesome.
Well, I
It's
just look
great.
at so if anybody, so
That's
people
just
who are
phenomenal to me
Mhm.
because like we can't do that shit. Most 99% of the other podcasts I listen to in fishing can't do that. But
Chat
Joe can take a
GBT.
fucking
Yeah.
picture of somebody that he doesn't know
Joking.
and he can create a story
But I
that
don't- I
people are
think-
like, holy fucking shit, this is phenomenal.
you're not giving yourself enough credit, though. You could do it. What I have first and foremost that you don't is a box of 2,000 Polaroids from the
Right.
80s and 90s. So I mean that segment. So for people who don't know, I do Polaroid of the week on my show every week, and exactly like Paul says, every week I take one Polaroid and I make up what I think the backstory of this photo was.
Out of the fucking blue.
Right. So we do it on the show, and then every Friday that picture becomes the promo for that week's show. So you can go
Mhm.
see it on social media. So again, because I'm so into fishing culture and the people and the stories, there was a tackle shop here. I knew the lady well. She was closing down. She just couldn't do it anymore. And there was this box of these Polaroids, and I'm like, "What is happening with those?" And she's like, "They're going in the dumpster." I said, "No way! Like no way!"
Hell
That
yeah.
is that's fishing history right
Yeah.
there. And I knew how special they were. So the real secret to that, Paul, is just having those. But if I gave you guys that box and you tied a couple on, I'll tell you straight up,
Yeah.
I've had so much fun having people in town or people here visiting, and they just sit here and flip through them just because they're cool to look through. I've stolen stuff off other people. Like I had, I don't know if you guys watch Shore Lunch with Nate P, my buddy Nate P, his producer Eric. Like he would just sit here and be like, "This guy looks like Lee Harvey Oswald," and like all this weird shit. And like some of it, I'm like, "Damn, dude! Like that's people have so much fun doing it."
Yeah.
But I mean, really, those stories. I mean, at heart, what am I? I'm a writer. That's where I started. I started as a magazine writer.
we go.
I love to write, and just being able to write and enjoying writing, and I always enjoyed fiction. I'm like, dude, this is my jam. You give me all these pictures, I'm like, and that has become Polaroids have become synonymous with my show, which is
That's
scary
awesome.
because it's going to take a long time. But at some point, there ain't going to be no more. You know what I mean?
You're gonna run out. That's
every
right, yeah.
every chance that I get, every time I talk to somebody, especially older guys like us, it's like, oh man, I had this shop around the corner. I'm like, is it still there? I'm a buyer. Like I'll straight buy them. Like if you, even you boys, like you ever bump into a box of Polaroids, like you
nice.
call me and I will say, offer them X amount of dollars and I'll Venmo you the shit. But like,
Hey.
don't let them go. You know, they're so
Total
precious.
side note, Joe, have you gone to like those? Because you're down in Southish Jersey, right?
Dead center, Trenton.
Okay, so North Jersey.
no, no,
Down-
no.
yes,
There is a
yes.
central Jersey.
There's
It was
no
determined
central.
by the government.
It was determined by a governor that wasn't even from New Jersey, so he can go shut the fuck up. But
I'm staying out of that one.
so if you go south, and I'm sure they have them up where you're at, these like random like antique stores,
Mhm.
and then they've just got a hodgepodge of everything, right?
Oh,
So there
love
was
junking.
one-
Yeah.
And I really wish I would have pulled it up because before I found out, I did find like a box full of they were slides though, like the old like microfiche of fishing in New Jersey. It was really fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
The only problem though is right next to a bunch of like racist fucking souvenirs because that's how the southern part of New Jersey is, unfortunately, sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was really fucking cool though, and I wish I would have kept it. They were
Well,
Which are bottom,
I'll
they're
tell you
really
a funny
cool.
one. If any, you boys will appreciate this one. So there's a flea market up near me, this antique flea market, and every once in a while in the summer I'll take a ride over there. And I was there one day, and this dude was selling this gigantic box of 80s Polaroids, but it was all like women bodybuilding stuff, and like a ton of like, I don't know who these people were, but it was it was like behind the scenes, just all this weird shit from these like years worth of 80s bodybuilding, like female bodybuilding. And in my head, like right then and there, I was like, I could buy this. And start a new Instagram account right now. That just post one of these a day, and it would go. But I'm like, like I don't know,
dude. You
like,
could start
what I do
podcast.
with fishing. Like the cool
a whole
thing,
nother podcast.
I don't want to start a podcast. I was just like,
no, a whole nother one. It's called Get Cut and Tie My Guts.
Yeah, maybe. But I was like, this is Instagram gold. But the way I looked at it was like, I don't want to cross the line, because with the fishing stuff, right? So these were given to me by shop owners. And the funny thing is, nobody's ever complained. In fact, the opposite. I've had a few people be like, oh my God, that is my uncle. And I'm like,
that's so
where
cool.
Where do I send a picture? Like, have it. Like, I want you to have this. Like, I'll send the hard copy. But with the ladies and the thing, I'm like, I'm just asking for trouble. I'm not going to do that.
So, all right. So, Joe.
Yeah.
Doing the Polaroids that you've been doing, and we had you on about a year ago. Doing these Polaroids, have you ever had anybody reach out to you and say, hey, that's my dad, that's my uncle, that's so-and-so? Have you had anybody reach out to you and say, hey, I know who that is, and this is the real story? Have you had any of that?
I feel like I'm in like there was like a break in the time-space continuum or something.
Paul, he just said that. You were so excited for your question.
I was just talking about how I've returned photos to people that recognize them.
He was literally talking about it, and you interrupted him to ask him what he was fucking explaining.
Look, I shotgunned a goddamn white clothes shirt. So the questions I asked are full of meaning.
That's okay. But I will tell you this, the coolest thing about the coolest thing I've done, and I really, really want to do it again, but I feel like I'm like at an impasse. When I was first going through them, I found like 4 or 5, and I knew the people directly or had 1 degree of separation. And I baited them all like to come down to the studio. Like I told them we were doing something. I just need to have like a 15-minute conversation. They're like, what the hell do you need? And I'm like, wham, what do you got to say about this? And we did it as like 4 vignettes in one episode. And I had so much fun doing that. But like I've gone through them all and I've burned them all. Like dude, there are some like there's this one guy, there's Ed something. I must have 38 pictures of this man starting in 1988 and going to like 1996. And we just watch him like getting older and weirder. And I'm like, I want this dude down here.
Yes.
But it's not easy. I mean, some of these are so old, man. You don't know where these people are. And the guy's name is Ed Miller. Like, good luck tracking that one down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So Joe, going back to the storytelling part of all this, you're really good at that, right?
Joe, do you ever tell stories on your podcast?
We have come to this conclusion. How are you? What has made you good at telling the stories? Like, seriously,
Paul, you just asked that question.
No, it's not. It's a whole different question. It's a whole different damn question. Like
he said,
I'm gonna send Joe. I'm gonna send Joe a picture.
Dudes.
I'm gonna send Joe a picture of me holding up a 2-pound bass tomorrow, and then he can.
I'll make you a deal. You want to make a deal right now? I'll make you a deal right now.
Yeah.
You send me a picture of you doing whatever, and I will write it up. That's fine. No, that's
right
not
there.
fine.
No,
No.
Joe said he'll write it up.
I will write it up and record it and send it to you guys to play on a different show. I will do a Polaroid of the week style, write up and read with a photo of you fishing, Paul.
Okay.
But don't send me this Photoshop shit of you in a dress with an orangutan. I'm not. No, I want a real photo.
Hey,
okay.
So everybody.
But what is
also,
the story?
Hold on, Paul.
No. Alex, shut the fuck up. This is me. I want to know, because of your writing history, all you've done. How do you create the stories? Do you have a bun, lettuce, tomato, meat bun?
You want to know the
How do
secret?
you-
I'll tell you the
How do
secret.
you? Yeah, I want to know the secret.
We're talking about the Polaroid story. Is that what we're talking about here?
Anything of you telling stories, because you tell stories like
Well,
nobody's business.
Man, dude, again, I can't tell you how flattered I am hearing this, but in terms of just telling stories like with guests, dude, this is going to be disappointing. I don't know. I just been doing this shit for so long, and I'm comfortable talking to people. And one of the best compliments I've ever gotten is somebody who's a little more timid or not used to this. They go, man, that was so fun, and like I had a good time with you, and you made me feel really comfortable. Like I was having a great time.
There it is.
I can't tell you. I can't put into words like why. I don't know. I mean, if you went back and listened to the Hook Shots podcast, my first one years ago, I didn't have a freaking clue what I was doing. I don't know. You just do it. You see, you guys don't give yourself enough credit. This is not slow or awkward. You guys can tell stories and talk and I mean,
no. I'm
you guys
full
flow.
credit. Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm giving us full credit.
Like,
We're actually better than Cut and Retie.
But you may be. But like, how do you put that into words? Now with the Polaroids,
you put it into words and saying that you're better than Cut and Retie. Paul can't even figure out the name of your show. He called it Cast and Retie.
Yeah, I mean, you need to work on fact checking, but you can flow, dude. But with the Polaroids, what's so fun about those is sometimes, like, I really try and tailor them to my guests, like whatever my guest is into. I'm like, how do I make the one that I pick this week sort of, roll into this? And I really enjoy it because sometimes I'll stare at a picture for like an hour, and oftentimes what'll happen is like one thing will be the jumping off point. Like I have one, it's a little spoiler alert, but I won't give because it's not going to run for a few weeks, but I have one coming up in a couple weeks. And it's this really old man, this tiny little man holding a 22-pound striper. And from the side of the frame, two hands are coming out and holding.
Sounds like Alex,
the fish's chin,
tiny man,
right?
Dude, two hands helping
So
him.
it's this little dude, and somebody is helping him. But on his head, he's wearing one of those Navy ball caps with the World War II battleship on it, and it's the USS Shaw. And it was that one thing, and I looked it up and I found out, well, that was in Pearl Harbor.
Yep.
And then I made up this whole story that starts like, Bernie figured if he could survive Pearl Harbor, he could handle these three shitheads that just showed. And like, I work in like kamikaze and like outgoing fire with these kids. So it'll be like one little tiny thing that just goes like the episode a few weeks ago, Paul, you brought up with my buddy Mark, we played in a band. I had this shot of these three guys holding a trout, and I'm staring at it and I'm like, they look like the band Marcy Playground. Boom, done. And then the whole thing was like a shitty tour that Marcy Playground went. So those
like
are
sex and candy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like as a writer, that's like, dude, if someone would pay me to just write Polaroids for a living, like I could do it all day. It's some of the most fun that I have writing.
Listen, as one writer
that's
to
the tough
another,
shit
Joe,
about
I
fishing
totally
is
get it.
Also, somebody wrote me in and said that segment sucks. That's the only one I ever had. Guy wrote in the other day. He's like, I love your podcast. Polaroid sucks. I was like, wow, you're the first person to ever say.
Sucks.
He said, I fast forward that segment every time.
Do you know his name?
I do, but I don't do that.
Okay. Well, we're not going to call him
He's entitled to his
out.
opinion. He's fine.
Yeah,
It's cool. I take all criticism.
Sucks. His opinion fucking sucks because the greatest
Listen,
thing
I fast
about
forward the whole episode until the
I just
Polaroid.
fast forward the entire podcast.
Yes, I just want a 5-minute episode of just the Polaroid.
Yeah.
All right. So hold on, Paul. So we've started something different around September of last year, right? This was not a segment when you were on the show. You had the shotgun round. That's still around for new guests, but returning guests, you guys get something a little bit different.
No
so,
beaver questions tonight.
No beaver questions, but what we are going to do, every every kid remembers playing this very immature kind of playground game, and it was called Marry, Fuck, Kill. Do you know this game, Joe?
Yes, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yep. So I'm going to give you 3 options, and don't worry, we've got a couple different topics here, and you're going to decide which one you're going to marry, which one you're going to fornicate with, and which one you're going to unalive. So the first one, which
wait. So is it? I have to pick one of those things for each thing, or you're giving me 3 things, and I have to tell you
which one you're going to marry, which one you're going to fuck, and which one you're going to kill.
Oh,
all right. So
ahead.
this one I actually have visuals for. So the very first one that we're going to go out with is Marry, fuck, kill, Bigfoot, Loch Ness, or aliens. And before you answer, I want to give you some visual stimuli to get you going. So that's your Bigfoot. There's your Loch Ness. And there's your aliens.
But that's a terrible alien.
It's awful, and also my Google search history is fucked because I just typed sexy Bigfoot, sexy Loch Ness, sexy alien.
They're coming for you, man.
Yeah, so which one you got?
That. Oh, my God. Can I see them again? Is that possible?
Absolutely. So Bigfoot is a man, you audio listeners, you're really missing out. This is the best way to describe this is if a broken AI tried to do it.
No, no, that's not one of the choices.
It's not it. This one.
Okay, but okay, talking about this one though, we are talking about the Loch Ness, not the young lady to the right.
And so I'm also really happy you brought that up to just spice up the Loch Ness. That's actually from a book, and the best part of this book, I'll summarize the Amazon summary. Her name is Andrea. It was a young lady in a bikini. Her and her friends traveled to Scotland to meet some cute Scottish boys. But soon, she'll come face to face or flipper to breast with the mythical, magical Loch Ness monster himself, who promises to overpower Andrea with his pent-up desire. He'll whisk her away to his secret lair. But does Andrea have what it takes to get a lock full of unbridled wild pleasure from this?
But I have to kill, marry, or fuck the monster, not Andrea, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Andrea doesn't
want clarity
count,
here,
apparently.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Right.
But and then the aliens is just your classic sexy alien.
All right. I've thought about it. I'll do marry Bigfoot because I feel like there's like financial, like you could like tour with her and like make a lot of money. Right? What I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Joe just said he wants to marry Bigfoot so he can fucking exploit her.
Yeah.
That's what he just said.
Isn't that what every person who's trying to find Bigfoot wants to do? Find him to exploit him and make money?
There you go.
Don't you dare.
Listen,
he's going to bet her down.
Listen, just so you know, these are the opinions of Cut and Retie. Bass and Bruce would never exploit a mythical creature. Thank you very much.
I'll kill Loch Ness and hang it up tiger shark style in Jaws as a fisherman.
I love it.
And I guess that leaves I'll bang the alien, maybe
bam, there it is.
Couple Goldschlagers, and I guess so. You know what I mean?
Well, it's better than that.
Why do you keep throwing that one up, dude? Like that's gonna haunt my dreams.
So
have you ever seen
Joe,
that movie?
you don't know about this one right here?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what that's from.
Yeah,
or what that is.
It's from a movie called Suicide Squad. And Paul, I say that this is what Paul's raggedy fucking beard looks like to me.
Okay.
This is it.
All right.
So we got through the classic question of that. That was some very good answers. Unfortunately,
do we have to do more of those, or is that?
Yeah. We're gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that one more is. So
no, you don't.
Luck.
So, and this one doesn't have to be sexual. This could be you fish saltwater a good amount, right? So, striper, fluke, or toe tog. Which one are you gonna fish forever? Which one's fun to fish every once in a while? And which one can go fucking pack sand?
Oh, that's easy. You marry the striper, you bang the fluke, and you kill the tog.
Okay. See, I like toe tog fishing better than fluke.
See, toe tog. I'm not a meat fisherman, but like because toe tog is a cold season thing, like you only get a couple shots in peak season.
Yep.
You wait till that limit opens up, and hell yeah, like I want my limit. I want tog in my freezer for the winter.
Yep.
Fluke, I actually historically I enjoyed fishing for them. But now my in-laws have a boat down in Ocean City, New Jersey, and I got a little kid. He can't go out in the ocean.
Yes.
No, my father-in-law doesn't like the ocean, and my son's still little. So we're just kind of stuck in the bay on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So by default, the last few years, like I've gotten pretty damn good at catching some fluke in the back bay. You know what I mean?
How about back bay? Have you done pufferfish yet with your kid?
No, not with my kid. I used to do that all the time when I was little, so I know all about it, and they are delicious.
Delicious.
There's no fugu people like the southern ones that'll. I don't know. You guys ever seen Serpent in the Rainbow? I highly recommend it. But I'm not really dialed on that. I don't know how. Like when I was a kid, God, we catch them in crab traps. You didn't even have to put a line out. There were so many, we call them blowfish, the northern puffers in the bay.
Yep.
But no, I should. I should.
GPS
I just don't know anything
coordinates.
about it. Like,
Dude,
I don't know.
got GPS coordinates for you, and I have the greatest bait for them. So what you do is you do a high-low rig. And what you do is you chain smoke a couple cigarettes and you shove the empty. I'm not even joking. You shove the empty cigarette butts, but it's got to be like right after you smoked them onto the hooks for days. They fucking love the smell of the nicotine and all the other shit that's in it. And because it's got cotton, it'll stay on that hook and it won't rip out.
It is so funny. In all my years, I've never heard another person bring that up. But when I was a wee lad working in the detail bay of Lawrence Toyota in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, this old timer Don, Dr. Shine, they called him. He was a party boat fluke guy.
Here we go with the stories.
He smoked about 10 cigarettes in 10 minutes. And that was his shtick. He's like, you put your killie on and your squid on, and then you put a cigarette filter over the hook, and it keeps everything on, and it gets wet, but it doesn't come off, but it just like breathes and pulsates and keeps everything together. And I was like, all right, Don, but you know what? There you go. I mean,
it works. Hey, props to Tommy Hines. He was a family friend of my wife's, family friend of mine. Unfortunately, he passed away to cancer this year. He ran the machine out of where was he out of? Sea Isle. Him and his son would run this boat. It's they're kind of decently known, awesome boat. But he showed me that trick. We tried to go out front to hit the wrecks for like sea bass, and it was just me and him, and we were getting our asses fucking kicked. And mind you, it's just me and him. So he was like, fuck it, we're going to go back bay. And we start fishing for these puffers. And I smoke, obviously, with this voice. And he was like, hey, down a couple smokes, throw them on that high-low rig. We filled 2 Home Depot buckets full of deflated puffers in about 45 minutes.
I believe that. What's interesting, though, is that they're attracted to the nicotine, you say? Because this dude, he would smoke like Marlboro Reds, but then he'd go like buy the pack of gun smokes at the smoke shop. He would not smoke them first. He would just break off clean filters, and then he would like dip them in cheddar crab oil and stuff
but he would
like
put
that.
something else on it, right? Or use the filter to hold, because I've used filter to hold like green crabs and shit like that, right? No, this is the only fish where solely based off of, I'm going to thread it through and then leave a little bit out like it's a trout magnet. You know what I mean? Just a little bit.
They like the nicotine.
Dude,
Weird.
I'll pull them up to where they're just biting the filter, no hook.
Wow.
Like they just, they're nibbling on the, and I think because it's a stinky smell and they just like, fuck it, I'm going to bite that, right?
Hey, Joe, I have no idea what the fuck y'all are talking about right now. So I'm going to ask you, have you ever had Camel's milk?
How do you tell stories?
Have you ever had Camel's milk? Have you ever drank Camel's milk?
Surely have not, sir. No.
Okay. I hear it's like the regular milk of cows, except there's a C involved.
You're a fucking idiot, Paul. You're a fucking idiot.
All right.
Hey, how was your Jesus?
What is going on?
Yeah, this is the new show, but this is what we do.
Did you give him like a sound effects board or something?
Yeah,
That's dangerous.
He bought it.
He didn't give I bought it on my own. Joe, I showed up one day with the damn soundboard, and Alex's whole life got ruined.
Yeah. That first episode was awful.
Ruined.
Yeah.
It sounded like a Monday morning radio show, like that driving show. That he was using every fucking sound effect.
Yeah.
But it does come in handy.
I got a whole sound effects board sitting right here. I ain't used it for anything.
Play
yet.
it, dude.
There's nothing even loaded. I don't even have any sounds loaded. I've never used
just
it.
Try it. Try one button.
He said he has no sound.
There's no sound loaded. There's no.
I thought maybe there were some preloaded sounds on there we could do.
Well,
no.
All right. So we learned in 2023 that sometimes fishing videos can go the wrong way.
Okay.
Right. So we learned that sometimes they can sound maybe not like fishing. And this is a newer segment that we call Bass or Ass. So I need you to guess whether guess whether somebody is catching a fish or if somebody's fucking.
All right, man. Let's do it.
Paul, do yours first.
All right. First one. Here we go.
That's a new one. Go ahead, Joe.
This is like crossed over into Opie and Anthony or something here.
Joe's like, fuck, I knew they were a little weird, but this is gonna end my career.
No, it's not. No, not this. Ass for $1,000, Alex.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Yeah.
100% ass.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Can you
All
play
right,
the real one, Paul?
second one. All right, the second one.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe I got this. I can't believe I got this. Oh.
Bass for $1,000.
Holy shit.
Was
All
that
right,
correct? Am I right?
Yes,
Yep,
you're
that-
right on that one.
That
Yeah.
was Fish
If you
Mama
had cut it
Chris.
off before she said, "I can't believe I got this," I might
Yeah.
have had to think harder.
Well, you missed it. His is a little lower in volume. As soon as she says that, right afterwards, it goes, I need to take a break.
All right, here's the last one. Bass
the
or
OG.
ass?
Oh, that's a good fish.
Well,
Oh.
Either it's I'm going to say bass because he says fish,
Yeah,
unless it's a
yeah.
trick question and you're like into
No.
some really
No.
sick stuff, you know,
that
No,
was the
so-
new-
way
so-
back of the truck
Hey,
stop.
Paul,
Yeah.
Paul, just so you know, those were so low on volume.
I
Look,
heard him okay,
I-
just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alex, when I signed on, you signed on shortly after me. I was trying to increase the volume and the shit wasn't working.
Okay.
And everybody knows at this point that I had been trying to make this shit work, but we got to edit those
not editing
bass
shit.
or
Oh, yeah,
ass
make 'em
a
louder.
little bit better to make them
Yeah.
louder and
Hey,
also to take out the quote unquote fish
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
of
So
them.
so Joe, that's why I was researching your YouTube life, because I was trying to find you on a like one of your videos, right? But again, the pro that you are, you've got music playing, there's like voiceover. I'm like, this
No.
motherfucking professional. I can't get him just grunting as he's
No.
Storyteller.
got
No.
his fly rod out for a
I
fucking
gotta
half
say
pound
though,
trout.
no fake, from the heart. Props on that segment. Now I think that's a hard one to like keep. Like I couldn't do that very often because how many
Right.
of those clips can you get? But
Yeah.
that was pure brilliance. That
Oh,
was
thanks.
Well,
that
hey,
was tremendous.
That is not us. Matt Pangrak from Bass Talk Live is the one that heard
Nope.
that segment and
Oh, yeah.
goes, "Hey, y'all should do bass or ass on
Uh-huh.
this."
Uh-huh.
And so, we took a professional bass angle. But here's the problem with our podcast: is Alex and I suck at like taking ideas and making them as good as they should be.
No, I feel like we've done pretty good with
I
these.
think that was great, man. I don't
Dude,
know.
so the whole Mary Fuck Kill, we had Alex Rudd on. He's been on the show a shit ton, right?
Yeah.
But he does overrated, underrated on his podcast, right?
Mhm.
He talks about. So I was like, hey, let's do that, but let's do a spin, and let's play Mary Fuck Kill
got
because we're the cruder podcast than his, right?
Yeah.
So we fucking did that, and we literally Rudd wouldn't say the word fuck, but he had a different word for having sex for an hour and a half. We did an hour and a half. It was 45 Mary Fuck Kills that he had to go through. So now we roll that in. So I don't know what Paul's talking. I think we do a fucking good job.
I think you do a
Paul's
great
stupid.
job. I think you do a great job.
Listen,
Yeah.
as like we're not getting paid to do this. Like I think we're doing a fucking good job. Paul's. I think Paul's not here because he's peeing everybody, but I think everybody makes fun of me.
He's
because
peed like 5 times since
he
we
pees a lot,
started.
dude.
Yeah.
everybody makes fun of me because I fanboyed a couple times on people. I think Paul is full fanboyed. I think with you, Joe. I think he's enamored. I think he's excited that you're on the show mentally and physically. He's excited.
Well, dude, I'll do this whenever. So you don't.
Yeah.
Well, you do understand because you have your own podcast.
Yeah.
Like when you make one.
Oh, it's so great to be called on to other ones.
Yeah, like
it's
I
so
just get
awesome.
this. I just get to sit.
Yeah.
This is fun anytime.
But I think he's also really excited because I mentioned this in the very beginning of the show, and I want to roll back to it though. Stop making the dicks in your face motion. What's up with the Roadhouse poster on your left hand side? Yeah.
Well, there's what's up with it. I'm a huge fan of the sways, man. There's what else do I need to say? So, so when I decorated, when I rented the space here, that is the Cut and Retie bunker that I've turned into, I call it a studio, but anybody who knows anything about audio comes down and they're like, "This is Kitty City." I'm like, "Well, I don't give a shit. It's my studio." Like,
Also, that's
all these
like
things
way-
on my wall
hold on,
here.
That's way
like-
better than most people. You have a fucking studio. I'm in my basement.
See
He's
how
in
that
his fucking
spins on the
garage.
wall there? It's like
Okay,
one
wait,
staple.
never mind. That's pretty fucking janky. That's just there for looks.
And, well, my chair
There you
hits
go.
that one, but my landlord, I was like, "Do you care if I hang some things?" He's like, "No, make it your own." I'm like, "Okay, come, like that, like 50 billion holes in the wall."
Make
But-
it your own. He was like Patrick Swayze. Bang,
Yeah.
on the
Well,
wall.
no. So, like, look, man, I'm a 40-year-old man. When was the last time you had a reason to go on allposters.com and just start buying posters? Oh, I know. When I still lived at my mom's house. You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, it's like, whoa, I got this little thing and I get to do
Yeah.
whatever I want with it. So I go on like all posters, and I'm not sponsored by them. They just have every poster. And I'm like, well, I got to have a Misfits poster. That's like my favorite band. They got to be
Fuck yeah.
represented down here. So I got a
Yes.
Misfits poster over here.
Yes.
But then it's like, buy 2 posters, and I'm
Fuck
like,
yeah.
just looking. So I'm like, I need Misfits and Jaws. And I put them in my little cart, and then you
Oh, you
just
gotta
get
have
lost. And
Jaws.
I'm like, this one. And this and fucking Roadhouse and this one, and then my wife's like 37 posters. He's like, it's a 4x4 foot room. What are you gonna do?
Mhm.
It's like I got some in the closet. Like I don't even know anywhere to hang them.
Your
But it
wife's
was
like,
just like,
why did you spend $50
Hey,
on
it
fucking
took- it-
posters
it-
from the 1980s?
it took me right back to my parents were divorced. So when they split up, like
Two Christmases.
yeah, right. But my mom.
Until you have kids and you're like, God damn it,
Fuck
two
it,
Christmases.
two
Ex-
Christmases.
oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Well, the house my mom moved into, bless her, she knew I was into playing music, so it had a finished basement. And like we
Mhm.
didn't need that much house, but she's like, "This is your thing." So that was like it hadn't happened since then. Like we signed it, and the deal was done, and we moved in, and I was like, posters, and this is mine. So
Yes.
I was 16 years old, so that was like doing this again. So
Yeah,
I got my
love it.
Tremors and my Swayze, and I got there's a John Bon Jovi there that I, got
see
at a
that
flea
one.
market
That's a
right
pretty.
anyway.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
pretty
And
looking
I
lady.
know I know the
Yeah.
people who are just listening can't see me
That
pointing on
sucks
the
for them.
video. Those are
Don't
all
watch.
MEPs, still on the old school cards from like the 5 and
Nice.
dime back in the day.
Oh, shit.
So
All right, I got 2 questions for you. Have you
Yeah.
ever heard of riff tracks?
I don't think so.
All right, so do you know what Mystery Science Theater 3000 is?
Yes.
Okay, so
I
they
don't know what
split
the
off.
fuck I was talking about again.
It's a TV show where they'll play like a bad science fiction movie
Yeah, like
and then
narrate
they do
and
like
yak
Yep.
at it, and yeah. Mhm.
So there's actually I think it's all of them. They do a separate one called Riff Tracks where they don't do science fiction. They do other movies.
Mhm.
There's a fucking Roadhouse one that is
Ah.
fucking hilarious.
I gotta check it out.
It's the guys from Mystery Science Theater, but they're doing Roadhouse and the fucking commentary. We were on the boat in the bottom of the ship. It's like the worst weather, and there's just fucking 6 fucking old dudes, old in the Coast Guard dudes, just old men, just farting, smelling like Bengay, laughing at shitty commentary to Roadhouse, and it was fucking the best times ever. The jokes are phenomenal. They make up some great points
Yeah.
about how he like kills this guy, but then he's like, "I'll never kill anybody." It's fucking hilarious.
Well,
I
I honestly, I love Roadhouse. I mean, Roadhouse classic, right? But that's just like the quintessential
I love it.
Swayze
No, it's
poster.
so
But do you actually
bad.
want to know
It's
what my
good.
favorite freaking Swayze movie is? It's a sleeper. Not many people know of it. Have either of you guys ever seen Youngblood?
Oh no, I thought you were gonna say Donnie Darko, where he's a pedophile.
No, that's a great movie. That's a great movie too, but not because of Swayze.
Youngblood.
Youngblood, dude.
I thought you were
Rob-
gonna say Snake Eyes with my boy Nicolas Cage.
No.
What does that
no.
have to do with Swayze?
I don't know.
Oh, is this a
Goddamn, I'm
hockey
just fucking
movie?
Talking.
Rob Lowe, Patrick
Yeah.
Swayze, Keanu Reeves, first role, right?
Oh, I'm gonna have to check
Holy
this
shit.
out.
The girl who was the love interest in the Number Johnny 5 movies is in
Okay.
that. Dude, classic. It's
Cynthia
such a
Gibb.
sleeper.
Cynthia
Gibb.
Gibb.
That's right.
Yeah.
Such a sleeper, dude. Young blood.
I'm gonna have to
You'll
check
love
this
it.
out.
You'll love it.
And then the second
my
thing-
greatest 80s, 90s movie star ever is Nicolas Cage.
We
Yeah?
figured that out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love Nicolas Cage.
Face.
Leaving Las Vegas? Like, he
Yes.
went
Face
to
Time.
Face Off. Really? You're going to go Face Off?
Yeah,
Of all the
because
things
it's so
Nicolas Cage
fucking
has
bad.
done?
No, because it's so bad, it's good. And then that just whole line where he's like, face.
Look, the first 10 minutes of Con Air is
Yeah.
the worst fucking
Yeah.
10 minutes
Yeah.
of Hollywood ever.
Uh-huh.
But the next hour and 15 minutes
The
is
best.
probably one of the greatest best
not.
ever. Yes. The first 15
Ah.
minutes of Con Air has got to be the worst shit that has ever been in Hollywood. But then you take the rest of it when they're on the airplane. Like Con Air is quintessential fucking the best shit ever.
See, but you remember how a few times tonight you've been like, I don't know what the hell y'all are talking about. I have to be the I
You've
I
never
saw
seen
it
Con Air?
once, but
Yeah.
like
It's
I
not
think
that
once
good.
was enough. So I can't
I do
wrap
feel
Con
like
Air
there's
with you,
always a
man. I feel
nostalgia.
bad.
So
There's a
let's start
nostalgia
talking about
factor.
fly fishing then because I'm
No, we're
fucking
not.
lost.
We're not.
We
No,
didn't talk
because I have
about fly
no, we're
fishing.
not. So one, there's a nostalgia, right? So like as a kid, I love Mad Max, right?
Mm-hmm,
And I was like, Mad Max, all those movies are fucking great.
mm-hmm.
And then when the new one came out, I refused to see it in the theaters. So I was like, why fucking do a redo? It's fucking fine how it is. And then you see that new one, and you're like, no, this is better.
Yeah.
This is a lot better than the older
I'll
shit.
throw one out there. My Mad Max as a kid was Predator. Like I was
Yeah.
obsessed with the movie Predator.
Yeah.
And now my kid is, which has gotten him in trouble at school, which I kind of take, but that's okay. Maybe I'm a bad dad. But
No.
all that to say, you know how like Hollywood is out of ideas, and most of the time when they do a remake or something, you're
Yep.
like, this sucks.
Mhm.
Dude, Prey is the most. The movie's called
really
Prey.
good. Yep.
Oh
really
my
good.
God.
So
Every
good.
Predator between the first one and Prey is hot trash, but
Yep.
Prey is amazing.
Yes.
Thoughts and
Amazing.
prayers.
Yeah,
Yes.
not that
No,
kind
no,
of Prey.
not that one.
Not that kind of
I'm
Prey.
sorry.
All right,
I have
so
no
thinking of-
idea what you're talking about. I thought it was thoughts and prayers.
No. I mean,
all right,
those
so
two.
You
Yeah.
mentioned Jaws, right? So
Yeah.
as a dude from the Jersey area, I mean, you're from North Jersey, so it's a little different, but
Okay, I'm not gonna fight it anymore. I'm from North Jersey. That's fine. Yeah.
but anyway, so Jaws is huge here, right? Have you ever so they first did it before the pandemic, right? They did it for 2 years. The Sweetwater Marina. Do you know where that's at?
It sounds familiar, but I can't place it.
It's on the Mullica River in the Pine Barrens.
Okay.
It's like a little bit downriver from Batstow.
Okay.
So,
yes.
Joe, tell us about how you can tell stories so good.
Oh my God. So anyways, so they started like 2 years before the pandemic on the anniversary of Jaws. What they'll do is they'll set up a big floating fucking
Oh, I've seen this.
a big floating movie screen in the middle of the fucking river, right?
Yeah.
They
yeah.
gotta shut it down, and then you go out in tubes and you sit in
You
the middle of this
float and
marina
watch it. Yeah.
and watch it, right? And then they have waitresses that'll come out and they got little fucking I'm sure it's so demeaning to them.
I've seen this on social, but I had no
Yeah.
idea that was a thing that happened in Jersey. I didn't know that's
Dude,
where it was.
It's fucking amazing, and they're bringing it back this year, and I'm so fucking excited. And the best thing is all these people sit there, and the only drinks you can get come in buckets. So there's these like half-gallon buckets with a straw in it of mixed drinks, right?
So the
and you
buckets
never-
are as tall as Alex at their half gallon.
basically. But what's funny is you see all these people drinking like multiple buckets. I don't see anybody get up to pee. I don't know what's going on,
Oh,
but
why would you? Come now. Yeah.
but it's the best. They play Jaws.
Wait,
and
that
you
shouldn't
sit in this
bother
whole
you though,
thing.
right? Because it's just
No, I
it's just
piss
a
in the
little
water
water.
all
It's
the time.
mostly water.
It's
so,
mostly water. Thanks for
per
bringing
your
that back,
earlier
Joe. Thanks.
statements.
Yeah.
You have no
Strangers
problem
pee.
marinating.
No,
in
I'm
other
gonna go
people's
back. I
piss.
don't like strangers pee. I'm okay with my wife's pee.
Okay.
I don't know if that made it better or not.
Wow.
But,
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm stopped.
no.
Okay, then. Okay.
But they're bringing
Well,
it back
well,
this year during the summer. Sweetwater, you can go down, float, watch the fucking movie, get all. Like, if you've never been there, Joe, you should make a trip because
I might have to go do it. But
Yeah.
it's my son and I. He's the Jaws freak, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with that. But I don't know whether he'd think that was the coolest thing or
No.
just be fucking terrified and it would be an absolute disaster. I just don't
the
know.
whole time while pickerel are just nipping at your nuts.
nipping
Just
at your
nipping.
nuts.
Jackfish. They're jackfish. Hey, what is that koozie you're drinking out of there, Joe?
That is Shore Lunch with Nate P. That way.
There you
we
go.
go.
It's my buddy Nate
Nice.
P's YouTube show. which I think you guys would dig if you haven't seen it.
You did an episode called like Swamp something, right, with him?
Yeah, I had him. He
Yeah.
was here in the spring, and we did a surf episode of his show, and then a bowfin episode of his show. Yep.
Is he at a Dirty Jers too, or
no, Minneapolis?
Okay, well, that's a big difference. Yeah,
yeah.
That's in South Dakota.
Yeah, same thing.
Oh my God, Paul! Right now, it's like when you have to DD for your wife at an event, but it's like an important event, right? Like you gotta hold it together because your significant other is fucking blitz and 2 seconds away from showing her tits. That's Paul.
I will show my TDs tonight, and it won't cost y'all nothing.
Paul, if you're gonna do that, go put that top back on. And no, don't do it,
Paul.
Don't do it.
Oh man.
Oh no, they've gone down. They used to be a B, now they're only an A. Good for you, Paul.
Hey, you said me losing weight was a fad, and I said you're a fad because you can never grow taller, even though I can get skinnier.
All right, Joe, what are the plans for 2024 for Cut and Retie and for you as a whole? What's the plans?
Oh God, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I take it week by week here.
Are you going to tell stories?
I'll probably tell some stories. I'll do a little. I'll do a little storytelling. I have something on the horizon, but I can't. Oh man, we're like a couple weeks. I can't yet. I can't say it here, but fairly big announcement.
That's cool.
Coming up, I know, and this is it's just so lame, but like
it's not
I have
lame.
several
question,
projects that I have like in mind for 2024. Some cool things I want to do, but right now they're just things like in my brain, and like I'm big on like don't tease it if you ain't got it. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So
you're like a good wife.
I'm just ignoring him at this point. As a guy in the fishing realm who is not dabbling in the bass, right? So that means you got to dabble other places. And I know you've maybe done it a couple times. Is snakehead in the Delaware hard on your radar?
Oh yeah, it's one of my absolute favorite things to do. And for the record, on bass, I like people. I
mean smallies.
Oh, smallies. Yeah.
No. I mean, you do smallies, but not like the largemouth is like the fucking bell of the ball.
It's bycatch. Like if I catch a big one or catch him, I got no problem. People think because I talk so much about it that like I absolutely hate largemouth bass, and that's not true. It's walleyes that I actually hate. I catch more hell for that. But
and I don't think you catch big ones because again I did. But I was on like this weird standby thing at work today, so I didn't have a lot to do. So I was trying to dig up as much dirt on you as possible to kind of do like my first idea was to do like a surprise roast episode. Yeah, but I couldn't find enough because you're so goddamn good. But the only thing I could find is you long arming the shit out of tiny bass a lot.
Oh yeah, I invented the rifle.
Look how big
pose.
this is.
The rifle.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I didn't invent the rifle pose, but I know the guy who claims he did. Like, I'm not gonna say the name, but like he was a big industry shooter back in the day in my younger years.
Rifle,
and he was like, I fucking invented the fucking rifle pose. I'm like, yeah, sure you did, bud. Whatever.
Dude, the trout rifle pose is the most embarrassing thing about trout fishing. Well, but there's a lot of embarrassing things about trout fishing.
To get back to your question, man, like I ain't gonna hide that. Like the smallmouth fishing locally in the Delaware, I grew up with it. It was amazing.
North, yep.
It is not great right here where I am anymore. The home stretch sucks, man. Like
we've heard that.
Sadly, to the point where it's like not even worth splashing the boat and running it in the summer. I don't know, man. It's been like going on 6 years now, and everybody's got their own theory, and somebody's right, but no matter who's right and who's wrong.
Are you talking about on the Delaware?
On the Delaware. Yeah, like it's just not good. So, dude, if I got free time at home, I am snakeheading more than anything else because
are you still rocking the Old Town deal or?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm still and I fish a big water PDL, which is I just wrote a piece about snakeheading in a kayak for On the Water. It'll be out in a few months.
The big water's way too big for that.
It is, and that's the thing. Like it is a beast of a boat, and it makes it a little challenging to get it into some of these snakehead spots. However, like elevation, man, it's so much sight fishing, right? Like you see so many snakeheads before, like you're throwing to a fish you see. So to me, I want a kayak that like I'm not small. I want to stand on that thing and cast and like rip the damn thing's head off when I set and not fall over. So I would
you fished
rather
in that top water yet? Or the
water?
sportsman, or they call it the sportsman now with Old Town.
PDL 20.
with the electric motor.
No. I'm talking about the you're in the big water. They call it the Old Town Sportsman now. It used to be called the top water.
Well, it's the Old Town Sportsman Big Water. It's a very long name, but I think we're talking about the same boat. And I got
No,
the
we're not.
132, which is the 13
No,
footer.
Nope.
Y'all
That's
are.
the big water.
Oh, my
That's the big
Jesus
water.
Christ.
So there's one that goes
Paul,
down.
intervene.
So, no.
I
So there's
can't-
one
I
that goes
can't
all the way
because
down. to
Alex
10
thinks he knows everything
do.
about kayaks now, and he does.
For I have
but
an Old
Go
Town.
ahead.
You don't, Paul.
Go ahead, Alex.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Anyways, there's the Old Town Sportsman is what they call it now. There's a 10-footer and a 12-footer, and then the big water is the 13-footer.
Okay, I'm pretty sure though they're all Big Town Sportsman next thing size. I think it's all one. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Anyways,
The only kayak I have is the 13-foot big water, which
13.
again it makes it challenging
Yeah.
in some places, but then it also makes it versatile because then I can take it to the bay and it's
Yeah,
great
yeah.
for that.
Mm,
I can
Absolutely.
use it for snake skinny if I have to.
Yeah.
It kicks ass in current, like when the stripers are running the river here. In fact, Alex from Old Town was just here last spring, and we splashed right here at high water. And I mean, you work your legs out, but it handles
Yeah.
it great. I mean, kicking up current.
dude, I got a spot for you in. Shit, do I say it on there?
No, he
no,
doesn't.
no, no,
This-
no, no, no,
No. I got a
no.
spot for you in Ocean City.
No, he doesn't.
No.
I do.
No, he doesn't.
I do.
Well, dude, we
For-
gotta get
for the
together.
kayak.
We live too close. This is silly
I know,
already
it's
that we
weird.
haven't hung
Yeah.
out and fished. But
Well,
I know.
Good
Well,
luck
you
because
said- hold on.
Alex doesn't even know how to tie knot or cast his line. So good luck, Joe.
But I know the
when
name of
you
this
fish with him.
podcast.
if he takes me to some good spots, dude, I'll tie him. I'll tie him
Yeah,
in
he's
FG.
gonna
I'm
take you to the
helpful.
spots. He's gonna take you to the spots that the YouTubers around y'all start
There's none.
chastising you, and you're
Oh
probably
yeah,
gonna
that
get
is
canceled.
true. I
Hmm.
have been yelled at multiple times.
I'm
on the
gonna get
water.
canceled by YouTubers.
Oh, dude,
But-
I've been
but by-
yelled
but
at
by Alex's
multiple
YouTubers.
people.
Hmm.
There's some spots that I fish where dudes have found out on YouTube, like they know those spots and they'll see me on the water, and I've been fucking yelled at where they're like, "You're killing the fishery. No, I can't catch fucking any bass now because of you, because of your YouTube channel. When you have 900 subscribers, go fuck yourself, dog. Like, I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Hey,
Like,
That's a slippery slope, man. Like that's why I don't want to be a YouTuber.
no, 100%. Yeah, I'm
you
with you.
just want
But
to be a
also,
storyteller. Tell us about telling
Sure.
stories.
Have I ever
No, no.
told you how I learned how to tell a story?
Yeah, no, you haven't. Tell us
I
now.
actually have a
Tell
story.
us right
So,
now.
The last
Alex, shut
time
the
Joe
fuck
was
up
on,
and let him tell us how he tells
I was
stories.
kidding. We've
last time
passed that
Joe
hours
was
ago.
on. Listen, the Bass and Brews historian can double check this. Tori can double check this. Last time Joe was on, Joe said, "Hey man, yeah, we're gonna fish in the spring." And then I actually texted Joe, DM'd him like 4 times. But as he said multiple times, like he's in this to meet people, and I'm not the right people, obviously.
I don't recall this, but I
I
also
made
tell
all-
everybody we should fish together this spring. No, I'm
I
kidding.
actually made all of that up.
Well, let's go this winter. I'm dying, dude. With this weather we've had, like I
sucks.
have not fished for
Sucks.
real since
Sucks.
about 2 weeks before
Mm.
Christmas, and I'm
Yeah,
I'm
it's been-
losing my mind. Opportunities when the weather's normal is already
All right.
limited this time of year. So
Bring your ass
as
down
soon as
here
the
and we
pines
can
come down.
Hey, bring your ass
I
down
got a
here.
spot
we
for
can,
you. Hold
we
on.
ain't got no ice. We ain't got no cold water. We can,
Where are you at,
I
Trenton?
can take you out.
Trenton,
real-
right?
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
It's a hike, but if you want to do a hike for crappie, we can do a hike.
no,
for,
no.
No?
I'd rather go after some big pickerel or something,
Okay.
dude. Oh, crappies.
Oh, I mean, we could do
Jackfish.
pine bear and pickerel in the kayaks.
I'm at the point. I want to. I want to go do
Yeah.
anything, and I want like a day out, not like what I did over Christmas, where it's like, well, I got to run the linens and things, so I guess I'll stop in
Yeah,
here and
no, I
throw a
don't do
trout
that
magnet
shit,
for 3 casts
No,
in that pond behind the dumpsters behind
No.
Wegmans, and then go pick
Hey,
up my kid.
speaking of what you got to do during the Christmas holiday, what big fishing trips do you have coming up?
you can't tell us. He already said that.
No,
Well, there's so I do
did
have
not.
I do have an ice fishing trip coming
Okay.
up in February. And that's all I'll say about that because then I'll give too much away. I'm trying to get together with my old Bent co-host Miles Nolte this summer, possibly in Wisconsin, which could be fun.
Ooh.
Basically,
cool.
you're asking me what I have set up. The answer is 0, but there's like 5 things that like we're sort of getting there.
There
You know
you
what
go.
I mean? And I'm actually going up to fish with my buddy Ryan Lilly at Old Town at some point. We're
nice.
locking that up, but early this summer I'm going to go back up to Maine and do some fishing because man, the last time I was up there, holy hell, it was some of the greatest smallmouth fishing I've ever experienced in my life. It was tremendous.
Any Alaska trips coming up? Anything like that?
No.
Northwest, no
I-
big fish.
The funniest thing and one of the coolest things about what I do is like the amount of offers I get, like people who own lodges and stuff, and they're like, dude,
Flexing.
especially like after that Alaska podcast we did, people are like,
hell yeah,
oh, dude, I'm on that river, like I'd love, and I genuinely, dude, I'd like to say yes to everything. You know what I mean? It's just I always say the hardest thing to do is get back to where you went that one time. Like everywhere I've ever fished, I'm like, God, someday. It's so much harder to get back there the second time, it seems like, than it was the first. So,
and the second time you always have more money. I mean, you talked about these podcasts where they gave you $100 budget.
Oh yeah, dude, I was the
to
budget
go
kid.
in the fish, and you're like, yeah, we did it 99. Like, all right, well, the next one you have to go to is in Alaska, and you have a $1,000 budget, but like it's going to cost you $5,000 to go do it.
I mean, I mean, just to catch your listeners up, like what these guys are talking about is early in my career. That's how they kind of like broke me, like saw what I was made of as a writer. They'd be like, go to the Keys, fish from Largo to Key West by yourself.
Perfect.
But you can't spend more than $150 a day to eat, sleep, and fish.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Fucking
well, cool.
fine.
I'm in the
Got
Keys. I've never been here before in my life. I don't know
What
anything
a punk
about
rock
this.
approach to it, though, right?
Oh, it was
Like,
great.
just fucking do it.
My mom lost like 12 pounds that week. Dude. Like, I was like 21 years old.
But here's
No,
what's
it's perfect,
the
dude.
craziest thing is you did it.
Oh yeah.
Not only did you do it,
And-
you
and
did
the-
it within the budget to make them go like, holy shit.
Well,
can
yeah,
send
I
this
did a
dude
great
this-
job on the Keys. So then when I went to Field and Stream, they were like, do that, take a buddy, do it in Montana. And then we nailed that. And they were like, do that and do it in Alaska. So
No, give us more fucking money, God damn it.
So the show that Paul's talking about, I've had my one of my best friends from high school. Like he went on a few of these trips, and it's fun all these years later to go through these articles because they
God,
read
it's
like
so
a
rad.
guidebook, like go
Yes.
here, do this.
Yep.
But it's like, oh, while we were writing that you should go here, I was shitting my pants because
Yes.
I drank Madison River water and had amoebic dysentery.
That's my
That
favorite.
didn't make the piece. You know
Such
what
a
I mean?
good fucking episode
But-
when you
but-
guys talked about
But
that.
to
That's so
to your
good.
point, like the saddest thing I think is now I look at those pieces and I realize that even though that wasn't all that long ago, in the overall scheme of things, it wasn't that long ago.
true.
Things were so different. Magazines had so much more expendable budget that
Sure.
these brands could take the gamble and look at it like, we'll give the kid a shot. And what's the worst
on,
that
Paul.
happens? We piss
Yep.
away $3,000 and we didn't get a story. No big
Yep.
deal. Nowadays, the young people who want to write, nobody's giving you that opportunity.
There's no shot for it.
every nickel for every word, digital, print, whatever, it's all accounted for. Like the days of giving a kid, like you got Moxie,
Yeah.
kid, here's $5,000. Let's see what
Yeah.
you can do. This shit just doesn't happen anymore because nobody
Correct.
can afford to fail. You know what I mean? Like somebody's getting fired if the intern blows that trip and you don't get your story. So that's kind of a bummer. But you brought it up, Paul. Like I look at those budgets now. You're right. I'm like, you can't get a cheeseburger for under $500 in Anchorage nowadays. Like this budget would have to be $10,000. You know what I mean? To get in the ballpark.
Hey, hold on. Time out, Paul, before you go. Hey,
Jesus Christ.
Joe said
I had
something
a
about us
really
fact
good
checking.
question too, fuckhead.
That's fine. Joe said that we need to fact check better. Joe just said you can't get a cheeseburger
Oh God.
in fucking Anchorage for less than $500. I just want to make sure we're clear on fact checking and who needs to do that better. All
I
right,
love
let's make
you,
that real
Alaska,
quick.
but tell me I'm not like only a little bit off. All right, come on.
You can get a bald head eagle fillet for less than you can get a cheeseburger.
They
is what
can't give them
Joe's
away
saying.
up there. There's eagles everywhere. But no, dude, like I don't know,
But
like
you
a
can get a
gallon of milk up
cheeseburger.
there is like
I was gonna say,
insane.
you can get a cheeseburger from a bald eagle because if you've ever been up there,
Yeah.
they are the biggest fucking dumpster rats ever. It's the majestic bald eagle.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than going to Kodiak,
So-
Alaska, and watching a bald eagle eat a fucking bean burrito from
pounder.
Taco. No, it's a bean burrito from Taco Bell, and it's fucking
That's
eating
American as hell. Yeah.
It's so fucking funny. First time I went up there, that was all the pictures I took. Were just bald eagles eating trash, and my wife was like, "Can
I
you
forget what
send
they
me
call them,
something
but
pretty?"
they call them. It's like white-headed dumpster ducks or something. I don't know what that dumpster. I don't know. They got a
nope,
nickname
you had it.
for them.
Nope,
Was
no,
that
you had
something?
it. White-headed dumpster ducks. That's
Yeah.
exactly what they are. Yes.
Our national bird. Yeah.
So so Joe, if you have somebody, let's say we have somebody that's getting into the fishing industry and they're in bass or whatever it is, and they're in that realm of creating content slash writing for the like, where do you is that a viable option, or should they just take their skills into creating content on their own on the YouTube or Instagram channel?
I don't
Like,
know. Dude, we're having such a good time, and I feel like we're gonna down note with this because
No,
first of all,
I
I could
want
kill the
you-
next
I want-
hour and a
but-
half talking about this.
But
and it's not
I want to
super
know
uplifting.
I want to know what you say, because like, you've been in the print industry and you are now in the gig industry.
in a basement in an old VFW hall.
There you go.
Is where this is culminated.
So right. So
Yeah.
in the basement of a VFW, or
in a tiny
creating
room
content
with the Swayze poster.
there you
like
go.
all led
Or
to this.
creating content
put
for
it-
a goddamn magazine that's making $1 million a year. Like, which one are we going to?
I want to go. Paul said you used to write for the most prestigious outdoors magazine, but now you're talking to us on Bass and Brews. Is this a viable industry?
But you know what, dude? This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like this
There
is
you go.
this is what makes me
Okay.
happy. Like doing shit
But-
like this.
But if you have an 18-year-old kid coming up into you asking where they should go, where the fuck do they go? Do they go into the print industry, or do you tell them to head into the Instagram, YouTube?
How far
whatever.
you want to get in the weeds on this, man?
I
I, mean, I
won't-
have
I
an
won't-
answer, but
I
it's-
want
it's-
you to get in the weeds enough to catch a fish. You tell
Alright.
us, because I'm asking you.
When I get that question, what I tell people is I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because I just got my foot in the door in a very different time. Like I look at like when I came into this in 2004 as an intern and then got hired 2005. Dude, if you look at how different shit is between 2005 and right now, it is the equivalent of our ancestors going from horse-drawn carriage to the Model A, like in a very short span of time.
shit.
Okay.
And everything has changed so much. And the market is so flooded. There are so many more people now who, oh, I'm a writer, I'm a content creator, I do this, I do that. Dude, in 2005, there were not a lot of 21-year-olds clamoring to work full-time in the offices of Saltwater Sportsmen. Like, so without getting in the weeds too far, just what I'm trying to say is like, I just stepped in at this time right before this huge transition and managed to sort of roll with that. A lot of people I started out working with who were older than me did not roll with that. They like the whole, I remember, oh my God, when they told all the editors at Field and Stream, hey, every article that you work on for the magazine, it's now your job to reformat that for our website. And like some of these dudes were like, that's not what I do. I'm not a digital. Well, okay, dude. Like, all right. I can't tell. I can't tell anybody to get into print. There's no print. Dude.
There's no
print.
print.
Print is
Sure.
dead. The fishing magazine. Now there are some excellent, what I would call almost boutique things. So like now it's quarterly. It's like I write for Angler's Journal. Beautiful magazine. I have a column in there. Beautiful, top shelf writing. They only take the best photography. And it's a beautiful book. You don't read it on the shitter and throw it away. You put them on the bookshelf and you keep those volumes. There's a market for that, right? There's still Fly Fish Journal. There's some great ones, but that is nothing compared to 20 years ago, right? I mean, that like you can't make a living, dude. The guys who are the staff is like 2 people. When I worked at Field and Stream, when I started there, dude, it was intimidating. That floor of a building in Manhattan was a powerhouse. I mean, just buzzing. 2 art directors, 10 editors, copy going this way and hustle over here. what's left, dude, it's like one, maybe two guys who are getting paid full time to put that magazine together. If you're a freelance writer, dude, print only and fishing, there's not enough work for you to have a studio apartment. Like there's not.
So you're saying create your own content.
Well,
Make
I mean,
your brand.
I do believe in power to the creator, right? Straight up. Why am I doing what I'm doing now? Because I've spent a lot of years making things for other people, and I enjoyed it, right? I had a wonderful time. I'm proud of everything I made. But right now, where my head is make it for yourself, because then it's yours. Just nobody can make a decision on anything I do right now except me. So yes, I do really believe like now is the time of power to the creator. The problem is that puts this notion in a lot of younger people's heads that like, well, I'm just going to strike it out on my own and do this. But then you got to be reasonable with your expectations. You're competing against so many people that want a piece of that pie that the odds of doing it or making it, I mean, it's kind of like hitting the lottery. And a lot of people who do make it, you're not even playing to an audience. You want to be successful on YouTube, right? You can't say what is different and creative about this that my audience would love. You'll never win YouTube that way.
Right.
You got to go, what does YouTube want? What does the algorithm want? It wants 20 minutes. It wants this much fish. It wants me to clean it on camera. It wants me to cook it on camera. That is the model right now.
Yep.
So
You're creating content for robots, not people. That's why I love podcasting, because to me, this is the only pure thing. You can't juke the algorithm, right? You're based on just how good you are. And that's pure to me, you know?
Yep.
So are you saying that podcasting is one of the easiest ways to get in?
No.
Didn't say that at all.
Okay.
I just said that if you have a unique idea, you have a message or a delivery or a format or something that you think will make you stand out, maybe it's just your personality, but if you think you have something that will make you stand out, podcasting is not, your success is not based on search terms and hashtags.
Correct.
You can't, call the people in Russia or whatever and buy
you
fake
can't
traffic.
SEO this
You
shit.
can't SEO a podcast.
Yeah.
So it is like the last form of fishing media, in my opinion,
For right now.
all media for right now. And this could change next week. But for right now, your success is based purely on you and word of mouth and people going, shit, I liked that. Hey, bud, you should listen to this too.
Dude,
YouTube,
it's so funny.
YouTube's a losing battle. You can't.
It's so funny you said that when it comes to the podcasting, right? So today I was dropping the kids off. Obviously, they weren't in the car because I was listening to Jim Norton and Sam, right? They've got a radio show. We're obviously not listening to that when my kids are in the car. But they had a comedian on, right? And he was talking because every fucking comedian has a podcast, basically.
Sure.
And they were talking about how, like, what's her name from Veep and Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Shit, what's her name? Dreyfus, right?
Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
There we go.
Yeah.
So she just started a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy from, I'm so bad with names.
Just a short.
There's all these giant, in the comedy realm, there's all these people who are coming out with these podcasts, these giants of comedy, right? These are people that already have like Hollywood jobs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they brought up a really good point where it's so funny. Again, so funny you mentioned it because I wanted to bring it up to see what you thought about it. Because so in that realm, these giant stars they don't need the revenue, right? Right? They're just doing it, but they're getting ad revenue. And then when it comes to fishing podcasts, there's every swinging dick right now on the Bass Pro Tour, whoever else has a fucking podcast now, right? Which is great. I think it's awesome. Everybody has a voice. That's cool, right? But do you think some of those just like uber commercialized shows are eating up their ad revenue when it used to be where they wanted more original voices? Now they just want whatever it is now, right?
And I don't really know, man, because I'll be straight up. I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. Like I'm not really.
Do what you
I
do.
do exactly,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like And that's, I think, a tip for anybody who wants to make anything. They say, like, don't follow your competition. Like, don't follow the guy you're trying to beat on Instagram. Don't follow, because just
That's a good point.
do you. And if it's good, then that level of success, whatever it may be, like you will come. So I don't really pay attention to that. But also, you know, there are tons of fishing podcasts, no doubt. I think you'd agree a lot of them are siloed. In other words, this guy is a bass podcast. This guy is a fly podcast. I'm a saltwater podcast. So, I mean, look, there's a lot of money in bass, and you brought up Bass Pros having a podcast. If you're a fairly high-ranking bass pro, I imagine maybe, I don't know about that, but it's probably not that hard to drum up ad revenue just because you're a bass pro and this is bass, and more money is spent on bass than anything else, right? But for me, I don't know. I feel like
true. Saltwater.
That's actually not true.
Saltwater.
Saltwater brings more revenue than anything else.
Saltwater has more revenue than any other fishing.
But culturally, it's
and
probably
that may be true, but I'm looking at it more of like outdoor brands.
Okay. I got you.
Like how much of any given lure company's ad money, a lot of that, like if you look at like a Berkeley or something like that, dude, they're spending tons. The bulk of that money goes to pro bass fishing and wrapping boats and getting pros on board. Right?
Hey, before we go too far, this podcast is brought to you by Berkeley. Before Joe says anything inflammatory, no, I'm just joking.
Actually, this podcast is brought to you by Astroglide. And Joe Cermele from Cut and Retie.
Yeah,
he loves Astroglide and how sweet and soft it is.
Listen, if there's anything a trout fisherman loves, is a good slime on their hands. The only way to properly recreate that is with Astroglide. Bass and Brews and Astroglide. Look for it in 2024. We have a
Joe, just so you know, we are not sponsored by Astroglide.
Not yet.
We had a conversation on Tiki Tac with them, and so now we have embraced them as Bass and Brews podcast.
Yeah.
As a sponsor that they don't know they're sponsored of, and so they're not getting anything. Well, we're not getting anything. They might be, but Astroglide is a great way to make your wife love you again. That's all.
And also, you can also slap it on your baits instead of bait fuel. How about you use Astroglide?
I wish we could have an audience show of hands. Do you want to keep talking business and advertising stuff, or now that you've brought up Astroglide, would you like to hear a story about my pubes?
Yes, I would love to hear a story about your
pubes.
Sort of.
100% pubes.
Yes,
kind of.
100%.
100% pubes.
Alex, shut the fuck up and let the man talk.
I'm always going to pick dude pubes, always.
Tell us about Astroglide.
So, I'm not going to say which podcast or who I worked for, but people can guess. I once had to do an ad read for that company Manscaped. You know what I mean?
This was for Veggie Eater. Gotcha.
Yeah. And they're like, will you do this? And I was like, fine, but do I get one of the thing? Like, do I get like the entire power tool kit, like for my manscaping? Yeah. So I read this thing and I'm like, I love this from a pubes or whatever the hell I said. And then the package finally comes and I was like kind of excited. I'm like, hey, it is what it is. Like, I'll take the thing, whatever.
Yeah.
And all they sent me was fucking Manscaped shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, and lotion. Like, I never actually got the trimmer to do like the whatever. And I was like, you sons of bitches.
Look,
like,
Astroglide would never fuck you over. Like, if you did a read for Astroglide, they're sending you like a gallon of Astroglide.
They're reputable people.
Listen, if Astroglide is fucking you over, it's going to be slippery and you ask
you won't even feel it. You know what I mean?
See, hold on. Fuck you, Joe.
Man.
Joe, you just stole that clip from us because you did it way better. You were like, Astro's so good, you won't even feel it. Now it's Cut and Retie, brought to you by Astro.
Look, we're going to listen to next month's episode of Cut and Retie. It's like, brought to you by Astroglide, thanks to Bass and Brews podcast who don't get shit.
Yeah. I'll send you guys a couple of travel
with all these
travel size ones. Put it in your carry-on.
Send me a 750 milliliter. I love it.
Listen,
Yeah.
with all these YouTubers quitting all of a sudden dramatically, it's gonna be Joey's gonna come on. It's gonna be a black backdrop. He's very serious. He's gonna listen. I had to leave Old Town and everybody else because Astro Glide has the slipperiest money ever.
Hey, you know.
He's like, I know I gained fame from another podcast that's way shittier than mine. But listen, it's dog eat dog
But if
when
you,
it comes to the world.
if you listen to fishing, everybody in fishing always wants to talk about the non-endemic sponsors.
Yeah.
And when you get a non-endemic sponsor, everybody's like, hey man, how'd
Astroglide?
you get that guy? How'd you get that
Yeah.
company? Like,
Yeah.
who's your connect? Hook me up.
Yeah.
The non-endemic sponsors in
Listen,
fishing,
we got the connect.
is
Her
the
name
shit.
is Tiffany. She works at
Rite Aid?
Delilah's
Yeah.
Den in Pleasantville, New Jersey.
She works at the Adam and Eve distribution center here in Holly Springs, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Hey, also props to Delilah's Den in Pleasantville, New Jersey. If you guys
The New
need a
Jersey
sponsor.
staple. I've never been
yeah.
in there, but I've been driving by it since I was like
Oh,
knee-high
it's,
to a grasshopper.
We went in there, and my wife's friend kind of looked like Ashley Simpson because she had kind of a bigger nose.
Ooh, she's a hottie.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
And this
one of the
lady,
best early 2000 songs ever.
and she smothered my wife's friends in her bosom to the point where my wife's friend was tapping out like
I
it was
like
a
bosoms.
UFC fight. Like
Okay.
tapping the fuck out. And when she got done, she kind of like threw my wife's friend to the ground and she just went, that bitch can't stand shit. And walked off, picked up a cigarette out of a bag and just like walked off the stage. It was
A Lucy out of a bag?
exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's old school.
Also-
that's old school cool.
This is like 2004 Pleasantville, so they still had the buffet bar.
Mm-hmm.
We would also halfway
Best
through our
buffets
ship.
in the Carolinas.
Wait, there was a buffet bar at the strip club?
Yeah,
Oh.
dude. Yeah, dude.
Ah,
At the
man.
strip club. Yeah.
If you
And,
ever come to the Carolinas, I'm saying this.
I'm
like
scared
15
too because I'm like, I can't tell that
Yeah.
many stories. You know what I mean? You'll just be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
story.
Bullshit! You're the storytelling champion of podcasting. You could
He's
tell
never-
that story.
Paul, he's never gonna meet you because you're gonna be like, give me a fucking story, bitch. If you don't give me stories.
Yeah, it'll be like Misery, just like come in the room in the middle of the night, like I'm gonna need a story.
No,
With
you
the- with
come
the
Joe's
leg
gonna come
hobble.
down
to
to
say that.
Joe's gonna
Write
come
me a
down to North
story.
Carolina, and be like, hey, we're going to the BYOB strip club, and you got to tell a story after
There's
this.
Joe locked up to a bed just trying to tell fishing stories. as
That's
much
what
as he
Misery
can.
was all about. That was the
I
whole
know,
premise of the whole
exactly.
damn
Yep.
thing. Yeah.
Did
Hey.
you know that was the third adult book I ever read when I was
Misery?
a kid?
a good
Yeah,
book.
so I was in like third or fourth grade.
This is bullshit.
I
Because this
could-
mother ain't read a book in
It's
entire life.
dead. Nope, dead serious. And I was reading books and I wanted more. So my dad, who's not a responsible human being sometimes, is like,
What
okay,
about
well, I'll
your
give
grandpa?
you these two. My grandpa's not responsible either, but my dad went, okay, you can read these two, and his Firestarter and Cujo. And I got through those, and they were like, okay, solid. You got through those. How about this one? And Misery was the next one.
Mhm.
Misery and Gerald's Game from
Ah.
Stephen King.
Classics.
And
all classics.
I had to ask my dad, like, how come his hand didn't break off? And mind you, I'm very young at this point. Yeah, it was very they're not irresponsible. They were just males in my life that gave me opportunity for growth. Way
Joe,
of my
Joe,
years.
if you had to hug Alex or me,
Mm.
who would you
That's
choose?
not fair. You can't do that.
Yes,
That
I
is a
can.
newer
not
question
fair.
we've
This
been
is
our
doing lately.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Who are you hugging, Alex or me?
Mm-hmm.
You, Paul.
Oh.
See, now why do we have to do that?
Nope, nope.
But that's okay. Alex
Anyway,
is short,
it was
but
great having Joe on. We're done with the episode. No, just joking.
No, that was
Look,
bullshit. You can't do that. But I
It's the
I
most.
mean,
I didn't
awkward
back
question,
down.
right?
I will
Yeah,
not
you
back
didn't.
down from you boys.
you
I'm
have
not.
to choose. You have to choose me because if you hugged Alex, you'd be hugging your feet.
but it's two different kinds of hug. I feel like if I hug Alex, I'd be like, "Yo, what's up, bro? How you doing?" And you like the hug would be more like, "It's gonna be all right. You'll be okay. Let's go over here. We'll wash your face off, and it'll be fine. Splash some cold water on you. It'll be all right."
I'm a hug a fart out of you.
Okay,
That's what I
that's
tell
fine.
you all the time.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna get a comforting hug from him. You actually got the opposite. He's gonna bear hug you, and it's gonna be so uncomfortable. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Joe, this is awkward, but we'll get through this. Come here, let's go have a beer, and it'll be okay, right?" No, the one that you picked, it's gonna be inappropriate. It's gonna be tight. There's gonna be a slight grinding.
That's all right. It's
Joe,
all right.
Joe, if
Someday
you hug me,
we'll do both, and we'll do a hug analysis or something. I don't know.
Joe, if you hug me, we're making viral content. If you hug me,
all right. Y'all look at me hugging Joe Cermele, one of those.
Yeah. Just remember, this guy used to eat fucking mayonnaise and watermelon sandwiches.
Maybe that's the viral content. Maybe it's like Joe's first taste. Let me hug you while I feed you a watermelon and pickle mayonnaise sandwich. I don't know.
Man.
Hey, we're going camping this weekend. Come on, come on down, Joe.
Not this weekend.
Not up.
Not this weekend.
No.
No, because while you're camping, I'm still going to be dealing with the remnants of the weather that is past you and is now slamming us here.
So we never talk about anything regional in New Jersey. Joe, can we talk about how we just
talked about Delilah's den in Pleasantville for
I'm
45
only
minutes.
This episode. I'm saying only this episode. Most episodes, it's about North Carolina and some other bullshit, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Can we talk about the fucking my sub pump has been running
don't
on
fish.
constant.
Oh, dude,
Alex, we
every
can't
30
talk
seconds of my
about
house.
Jersey fishing.
Right.
Unless
It
Joe's
sucks.
on because you don't fish.
No, it sucks. It's so fucking wet and rainy.
You know what? It sucks and it doesn't, because on one hand, it just sucks. It sucks and it sucks because I don't know, man. Like I see last few years now.
He's peeing again.
I know,
This
and it's
is
funny
the
because I kind
fucking
of wanted him to weigh in on what I was about to say,
Nope,
but that's all right. It's his loss.
Yeah.
I feel like every year we creep closer and closer to becoming the Carolinas in winter.
Yeah,
like we are North Carolina,
No
in New
snow.
Jersey now.
No
snow, and
Yep.
it does not even stay consistently cold anymore.
Yep.
And are there benefits to that? Sure, man. Like it makes a little more fishing time, but then sorry, you look at that big picture, it's like this can't be good.
It's not good for the fish.
And well, I mean, forget
Or
about
in
the fish. I'm
general,
just saying, like
but in
right now,
general.
we've just gotten insane amounts of rain. Like people are being evacuated, and that's not just here. That's all up through New England. It's like it's January, dude. It ain't supposed to do that. Like, give me the blizzard of '96. You know, what I mean, it'll suck, but like I'll blow the snow out, and the kids will get stuck home, and we'll go sledding and drink hot cocoa, and it is what it is. It's I don't know, dude. It's like it's a little frightening. What I don't like more is the tornadoes. We did not have tornado warnings here when I was a kid.
It's all brand new.
And now, like,
well, I mean, you're not getting
my
them
house
up
just
there.
my house just got sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is like you're local, so you'll remember. But there was not a tornado. But like quite literally, they were talking about hitting on the corner down the street from my house.
That's insane.
And we got about 3.5
years
minutes.
ago, right?
No, is this April 1st last year?
Okay.
Like 4 minutes of golf ball size hail ripped everybody's house up.
Yeah.
Like the tornado never
that's
touched.
gnarly.
It never formed one. But I'm like, I've never seen this in my life.
Yeah,
like,
we
I've
had
never in my
touchdowns.
life seen this.
Dude, we had touchdowns of tornadoes in like Vineland and Millville,
yeah,
which are like. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, my kids are freaking out. I'm like, it's not going to touch us. We're like a county over.
Well, that's what I used to say. And then I'm like, well, like my
you
kids
never
are like,
know now.
are we going to get hit by a tornado? And I can't look him. I can't look him in the eyes and be like, absolutely not. I'm just like, I hope not. I don't know, but I hate it, dude. Like I hate. I don't mind the warmer temperatures, but I hate what comes.
Well,
with
I hate the little warmer temperatures because it's fucking January, and my wife this morning said, maybe when it stops raining, you should mow the lawn because there's been so much fucking water. Because I have so much goddamn grass now because it's been raining so much.
But it's
and not that
mine
cold.
stops growing. Mine goes dormant regardless. I think it's a daylight thing.
No, I think you have that fancy successful podcast grass. You got that like Bermuda. You got that good grass, you know what I mean? I got that like dirty swamp grass.
Okay.
That it's like Like
Just
literally,
it's not weed, basically. Yeah.
right, exactly. Oh no, I mean there's oh no, never mind. You're talking about. I'm about to say there's plenty of weed in South Jersey, but you're talking about a different one. Never mind.
I'm talking about invasive not weed. Not,
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
No. I think that's really cool. So we're gonna go even more
Hey,
local.
Joe, have
Hold
you
on,
ever
Paul.
drank Camel's milk?
We're gonna go even more local.
Still
so
no.
My local.
If
town
there's a
is up in
punchline
arms.
here, I'm missing
There's
it,
none.
dude.
There's
okay.
none.
All right.
He's just trying to interrupt. My local town is in an uproar because we opened up our first dispensary in town.
Oh yeah, that whole
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
And they're freaking the fuck out, right? And I'm just like, fuck yes. Like, I'm gonna get a lot of money due to taxes, hopefully from that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And also, I'm out of the military. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just in principle, I guess.
I got no issue with it, man. I mean, I don't know. It's a revenue stream. It's gonna bring money to a town. Like
Yeah.
I've seen so many towns in Jersey freak out over it, and I'm just like, I don't understand what the big deal is. I
It's-
really don't.
it's
That's
fucking
the
out
same
of
thing
control.
with drunk wood. If you want good
What?
wood, go to drunk wood.
This
What?
guy.
What?
He is actually referencing a listener of the show.
That
A
listener,
degenerate.
He has been on the
degenerate.
show
Yeah,
couple
a
times.
degenerate of the show, and he tried to so obviously when he's peeing, he was looking at Instagram when Drunkwood was making fun of me because I spelled something. I can already tell where Paul's going with this. It's cool.
Okay.
Well,
Hey.
here's the problem: is Alex is like 4'12" and a half,
Uh-huh.
and
and a
so nobody even knows math. So we have no idea what's going on right now.
Okay. I don't
All right,
do
Joe.
math at all. I failed that. I was in the math trailer like through college. So
Look, it took me 2 times to pass.
I was in the they just call it the
Stupid
annex
math.
building when you get to college, but it's still the
Yeah,
trailer.
it's the
Look,
trailer.
I passed math at Carolina because the TA liked me and she wasn't hot and neither was I. We just
Mhm.
got lucky together.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes things work out that way.
That's right.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
look,
we
it
saw a whole
doesn't matter.
I didn't believe I ate my sandwich yesterday.
That's it. That was Paul right out of North Carolina. That's a punter's body.
Mm.
Hey Joe, we're wrapping it up here. Thanks so
Shotgun
much.
round. Hell.
There's no shotgun round. Hey, thanks for coming on. I know this is a
And
way different.
Any
show.
this I have a blast. This is fun. Any time. Seriously.
I would turn this shit off, but I have no idea how to turn it off
You're
early.
so
What I
drunk.
do after your show, as soon as we're done, is then like I spend the rest of the night going, "Did I say anything that is going?" Because like there's just so much happens. You know
The
what I
only
mean?
thing you said that was really inappropriate.
Oh my god. Oh my
No, just joking. Hang out for a minute, Joe. Everybody, thanks for listening. It's been an episode. I thought it was a great episode. I got Paul drunk as shit, and I can't deal with them. I'm gonna domestic violence him right now.